If you carry a firearm and discharge your weapon in self-defense, you could face hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees and expenses. So carry the protection of CCW Safe, Self-Defense Legal Services membership. Upfront payment of all criminal and civil defense costs with no out-of-pocket for members. Unlimited defense budgets, unmatched legal expertise. Carry the same level of support police officers have. Carry CCW Safe, the highest caliber.
And we are back. I'm Chris Evan, the CEO of Survival Dispatch. My friend, Pastor Sean Moon, getting his phone set up there. Good to see you, Sean.
Good to see you, brother.
And we've got our in-house Intel subject matter expert, S2, with us tonight, a.k.a. Captain America. How you doing, S2?
Hola, how are you?
Right on. So actually, before we jump into the first piece of breaking news, Sean, I keep forgetting this. So after we left that Brazilian steakhouse in Vegas, my wife said to me, there was something wrong with our bill. And so I asked a couple other people, and they said that you and your brother paid for dinner for all of us. And I got to say thank you, because that was very, very nice, very kind of you guys to do that. And I haven't had a chance to say thank you. And I was going to do it by text, and I thought, nah, I got to say it to his face. So really, really appreciate the hospitality, Sean.
No, brother. It was great to have you. Next time we'll have you a little closer, because all the kids were sitting in the middle.
It was all good. It was a great night. I really appreciate you inviting us to that. So, and of course, your brother, owns Car Arms and Tommy Gun and Desert Eagle. So we got a little piece of breaking news that relates to you and your brother here, in that Trump has appointed Kash Patel as the temporary head of the ATF. And I don't know if people have noticed this or not, but when Trump appoints somebody the temporary head of an agency, it means they're fixing to shut it down, just like Rubio did with USAID. So I think we're going to see some interesting stuff happen with the ATF here imminently. Definitely not bad news, that's for sure. All right. Yeah, in this case, 100%. I think the problem with the ATF is it's a really striking example of an agency gone rogue. And thankfully we have the Chevron deference doctrine got thrown out by the Supreme Court, right? And for those people who don't know what that is, just brief recap it. A little over 40 years ago, the Supreme Court ruled that the agencies were the preeminent experts in their field. So if you wanted to sue them, you couldn't, if the agency said, well, we're the experts here and you can't sue us, essentially. I'm oversimplifying it, but that was the gist of it. That got overthrown. I don't know if you know the reasons behind this, Sean, but it's pretty crazy. There were a bunch of cases joined together, and one of them was against the EPA. And this guy had a farm, and there was like a two acre parcel of land next to his farm. He had hundreds of acres, and he had the opportunity to buy it. So he bought it because it was flooding one of his fields out, right? So he filled in this drainage ditch that the guy had put in, the previous owner, and dug a new one. EPA shows up and says, we're going to fine you $35,000 a day until you put that back to the way it was, because that was a navigable waterway. It was a drainage ditch across 2 acres. That's it, right? So that one went all the way to SCOTUS, and the Supreme Court said, listen, you're making up laws and penalties here, and you don't have the power to do that as an agency. Only Congress can do that. So they basically threw the Chevron deference doctrine out the window, which means you can now sue the agencies, but it also means that the agencies can't create all of these regulations and enact them like laws and punish people like they've broken the law, right? And ATF is a prime example of it. They've done it more than anybody else. Oh, your pistol brace, it's legal. Oh, wait a minute, we changed our mind. Pistol braces is no longer legal. And if you don't turn in your pistols during the amnesty period, we're going to put you in jail. And those sorts of decisions, which are just asinine, right? So anyway, putting Kash Patel in for the head of the ATF temporarily, good sign. I'm happy with that. All right, so we'll jump into just quickly through the top 10 items, and then we'll be into our main topic of this evening, which are the accomplishments that the Trump admin has laid down over the first month here. So these are in no particular order, by the way. But number one, Trump's first month's initiative sparked national debate. President Trump's whirlwind of executive actions since his January 20th inauguration, over 100 in 3 weeks, tops the list. from mass deportations to emergency declaration at the border, slashing DEI, pardoning the J6er. There's lots of polarization happening between the other side and our side, but we gave Trump an overwhelming mandate to do this. Sean, do you want to weigh in on any of those things? Because I know they're all close to your heart.
Oh my goodness. I mean, President Trump is a wrecking ball against the globalist. what we would call the 666 beast, Antichrist beast system of these commies that have taken over. But oh my gosh, it's been every single day has been just a praise God, hallelujah. You know, we've just been celebrating almost every day. He's been wrecking their infrastructure.
So interesting choice of words on your part. For those people in the audience who don't know Sean, Sean, go ahead and explain how your your family escaped communism in Korea to come to America, and maybe just share that story with our audience again.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you know, my father was freed 1950 from Hungnam death camp. He was that was his 2-year, 8 months sentence. He was tortured to death because, you know, in communism under North Korea, you cannot preach about anything about God or anything like that. So it's the death penalty if you get that. So he was shipped off to the Hungnam, and he was tortured to death, and God just had his hand on him, and he was able to survive. The U.S. forces came in 1950 with MacArthur and freed him, and that's how our family immigrated to the U.S. and escaped communism. Ever since he's been once he got to the U.S., he started the Washington Times, and so continued to fight the left. After they put him in prison, the feds in the U.S. put him in prison for, quote, tax evasion for like $1,000. It was clearly, you know, persecution, and the left did. And when he got out of a Danbury federal prison, which was where Stephen Bannon was, he started the Washington Times. So it became one of the biggest. Before social media, everything, like Washington Times was the major alternative news against the Washington Post, against New York Times, etc. So we've been at it fighting the commies for, you know, quite a few decades. But yeah, he was. That's kind of our story. This is his North Korean prison number that I wear around.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
Sean, I got a question for you. Was he involved in anything with Miles Gao?
Miles Gao. Is that the Chinese gentleman?
Yes.
I see. He's the no. I don't. I think that was after his time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just tweaked me here, Sean. I didn't know that your father started the Washington Times.
Oh yeah.
So when social media started to have a negative effect on dead tree format newspapers, the Washington Times actually asked for the former chief at the LA Times, Larry Beasley, to come and take over. And he turned the Washington Times around. This is in recent years, like 10 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And Larry Beasley's son was a friend of mine for years. So I used to get to go with the Washington Times as a VIP to all kinds of really cool events like NRA national meetings before the NRA went way off, you know.
Oh my goodness. Look at that. Incredible.
What a small world. I didn't know that.
World. Yeah, Reagan said it was Reagan's like favorite paper.
Yeah, so Ralph Z, you must have known Ralph Z, the crazy guy who he was like best friends with Ronald Reagan, and he was a reporter for the Washington Times for decades.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
You would know Ralph if you met him. The guy was batshit insane. He was absolutely crazy. You'd go out to some fancy dinner with him, and he had no filter. Sometimes it was like, oh my God, Ralph, come on. So anyway, so get us back on track here. This measles outbreak in West Texas just seems to be hanging on and getting worse every day. It's in my feed, so it's surprising in this day and age that we would have a problem with measles, but apparently we do. Bitcoin mystery, U.S. Marshals lose billions. This is pretty crazy. The U.S. Marshals Service has reportedly misplaced billions in seized Bitcoin, with whispers of theft possibly by North Korea, by the way. And so that's a scandal that's brewing. Snow moon peaks amid storm chaos. So the February full moon. Yes, sir.
I'd like to comment on the Bitcoin bit here.
Absolutely.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So what a lot of people probably don't know about this is there was a report that was due to a senator about this Bitcoin, because what had happened was the U.S. Marshals, in conjunction with the FBI and the IRS, had seized millions and millions of dollars of Bitcoin due to the Silk Road case, which was owned by Ross Ulbricht,
Okay.
who was pardoned by Trump. And at the time they seized it, it was actually millions, but because of the bull market that Bitcoin had been having, it actually turned into billions. So, if anybody doesn't know what the Silk Road Marketplace is, it was actually the first online black market and first darknet market that was ever created. So, if this actually had the loss of this Bitcoin actually happened under Biden, it didn't happen under Trump. Um, so that really, I don't think there's any mystery there about where that Bitcoin went. And
It's
I
interesting. Well, it's
and I
just
ser-
interesting you mentioned the Silk Road. I haven't heard that in years, but Silk Road was where people could go buy pretty much anything illicit that they wanted to on the dark web.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, it happened under the Biden admin, so I don't think there's any. I think the whole North Korea thing is a cover story for
Gotcha.
actual theft by the Biden administration, because they had actually partnered. The U.S. Marshal Service had actually partnered with Coinbase to actually auction off that Bitcoin.
Interesting. All right. Well, I appreciate the extra details there. Let me see. Number five, pardon me, Leonard Peltier's release ignites justice talk. So this is an indigenous activist here in Florida. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised that this made the list of top 10 news items, but there it is. Trump's tariff threats rattle markets. New tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China are shaking up trade relations and stoking inflation fears. I think that that's largely the result of the legacy media. I don't think that it's legit. We've got some stuff in tonight's brief specific to that where CNN is trying to say, well, Trump support is gone down when they poll people because he's screwing up on the economy. So asking CNN what their audience thinks of Donald Trump is kind of ridiculous, if you ask me. But all right, fatal DC plane crash claims rising star. So there was a civil rights lawyer named Kia who was killed, and so her boyfriend has been doing the news circuit, trying to make sure that she's remembered for all the good that she did. Transgender policy rollback stir controversy. Yeah, not really. Holocaust survivors stories resonate amid rising anti-Semitism, and Philadelphia hospital shooting locks down city. Crazy times we live in. But let's get into the chapter one stuff. So, Sean, I noticed that you've been hanging out with Donald Trump Jr. I see you've been at Mar-a-Lago performing again and hanging out there. When I don't know why, but when I saw this meme, I thought of you hanging out down there and thinking, yeah, this is really the revolution, right?
Oh, praise God. It really is. And thank God it didn't have to happen with the Civil War or something like that. If Kamala got in and she was going to enact, more J6 atrocity against the people and, just go after the normal, citizens that supported Trump. And of course, lock Trump up for life. They were trying to give him 700 years plus with all his quote charges. So, oh my gosh, it would be a totally different America, brother. we would have been at the end.
So I know you're friends with Ivan Raiklin, and did you see the video of Ivan and Enrico Terrio and what's his name, Ferrone, the cop who
Oh,
gave
yes.
testimony for J6? I'm just curious if you saw that video or not. Ivan didn't say it, but Enrico Terrio, pardon me, he gave him a good blast of shit. But that guy, that cop is, I mean, we're fairly strong supporters of law enforcement, but that guy was way offside.
Oh my gosh. I mean, he was an actor. He was coming out and testifying, saying that it was the worst day in history. He was trying to prop up the whole insurrection narrative. I mean, we were there on Jan 6. We were getting tear gas and they were shooting us. Some of us got hit with concussion grenades and one of our guys got hit with the tear gas canister and they were shooting right at me because I had a blowhorn and I was just, we were right up there and people don't understand. Like, they were shooting tear gas all around us and behind us, particularly because they were trying to force the crowd into the police to get that narrative, to get that optics of us clashing. But it was just, we were seeing like literally Amazing Grace and like God Bless America. This is, hundreds of thousands of people. And it was peaceful. Everybody was just stationary. And then all of a sudden, the concussion grenades, the tear gas, and then them trying to push us, like sandwich us into the line to get that CNN, camera shot.
I was just going to ask, did any of the feds contact you or your brother or anybody else after J6?
Oh, they definitely contacted a lot of people in our community. They tried to say that we were like the Proud Boys and like that we were doing seditious conspiracy against the U.S. And they dug up in our emails and stuff like that. But we were not communicating by email. We were just, letting the Holy Spirit just guide us. And, so we have nothing on communications on emails. We have none of that. We were there simply to pray. And our folks were there simply to pray. And we had, obviously we had Trump flags, USA flags. We also had a South Korean flag. We had a Japanese flag from our different churches that were coming in to pray. And if you look at the footage, you'll see a South Korean and you'll see a Japanese flag. And those are all our people just praying. They were just literally stationary and praying because they stole the election, obviously. But it was definitely a Fedsurrection, as Ivan says all the time.
Yeah, should have just told him you were rooftop Koreans there.
That's right.
We love our rooftop Koreans. So, just interesting comments on your part before we move on here. Have you caught in the UK how they are now arresting people for praying silently outside of various buildings? So they're not saying anything, they're not holding any signs, but they're arresting them for thought crimes.
Yes.
I mean, if they had managed to steal this past election, that would have been the next step.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, if America didn't stand up, like if we all just just kind of sat at home and didn't do it, even on J6, J6 was almost like the Tea Party. It was people that was really there and just saying, no, this is our country and you can't just steal it in front of our eyes. And I feel that it's like the folks that Trump has pardoned and all the folks that were persecuted and suffered, by the feds that locked them up solitary and just give them so much torture. These people are heroes now coming out. So we really blessed them.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. So the next one up that I've got here. And you would know better than I would, but reportedly, as much as Trump jokes about what transpired last year, he's absolutely pissed behind scenes that they would try to kill him, right? And
yes,
his choice of music has tweaked some people. He clearly knows what he's doing and sending a message, but this is pretty interesting that Trump would put this picture up of him and Kash Patel with a quote from General Patton saying, "May God have mercy upon my enemies because I won't." I mean, he's going full steam ahead against these people.
Let that man off the chain.
Yes.
100%. I mean, either one of you want to comment on that? I think that's a pretty strong signal, if you ask me.
Oh, I mean, as our other panelists said, that's let that man go. Have you seen the meme where he's doing like the Indian Indian pop song, the Hindi music, and he's Kash is dancing
with the Indian Army.
Yeah, with the Indian Army. Oh Lord, it's so funny.
It is.
Let him go. Let him off the chain.
That's too funny. So anyway, the first news story that I had in the brief tonight, when I went to pull it up on X, it disappeared, and it wasn't anything really contentious or anything like that. So I'm just going off of memory here, but it was basically that lawmakers in the state of Georgia are rallying around Trump's plans for the mass deportations. In other words, to empower their law enforcement officers in the state of Georgia to assist, which, the mass deportations is a pretty interesting angle to Trump's plans here. And if people didn't see Tom Homan speaking at CPAC, I think he gave the best the best speech of them all. I don't know if either one of you caught that or if you want to comment on it, Sean.
Yeah, I saw the Homan speech. He was he was spitting fire at these people. I mean, and especially Boston. He's like, "We're going to Boston next." He was talking about. They told me I couldn't go to Chicago. Was the first place I went, Chicago.
Yeah. What was the quote that Holman said? Something like he was going to bring hell down on Boston or something to that effect.
Yeah, he said, "I'm going to Boston. I'm bringing hell with me."
That's it. Yeah.
Holman is amazing. Yeah, we had him at our festival in PA, and he walked to the factory and everything. And Holman he's a beast. He's the real deal. Even when he was at our festival, he had a lot of death threats against him. So he was talking about that. Like he's like, but he was just walking around, and he was he was prepared. He's definitely a prepared man, and he just brings that kind of intensity, and he doesn't pull any punches. He speaks his mind. And so we're so thankful that President Trump has tapped Tom Homan to do this job. It's very important.
As a
Yeah.
comment to what you made, Chris, about Georgia, it's interesting because they're trying to set up a new training center there, and the Antifa folks have called it Cop City. And several times, I think it was one time either last year or year before last, Antifa basically tried to run two operations on that particular area, and unfortunately, one of their guys ended up getting shot. But then they tried to run it again after they had already run these guys off once, and it was very clear that that was an organized operation that they were running to try to shut that down.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've been looking for another copy of the article that got taken down. I couldn't find one quick enough, but I did find this, which speaks to the point you just mentioned. So I read that Georgia lawmakers fear that if they support Trump, the BLM and Antifa will burn down Atlanta. One, just call in the National Guard and arrest every piece of shit that shows up to break the law. Two, Atlanta had to be burned down once before to save the Union. Sean, do you catch it by chance how lawmakers in Georgia are really lining up behind Trump? That hasn't been the case. We have home in Georgia. We're pretty familiar with what goes on there. And this Brian Kemp and the rest of them have not been strong Trump supporters.
I mean, if you look at all the polls, Trump is actually rising in popularity. And he had, the record number of black supporters, young black males went in record numbers to vote for Trump. Because, I mean, they're also being robbed, too. Everybody's being robbed of the future. They were trying to push us into World War III under Kamala. And President Trump is, geopolitically, he's killing all the foreign wars that they were trying to, set us off with. So I think this seems like another CNN, propaganda point trying to, rile people up again. But
yeah, agreed. So I've got a few more articles here relating to the mass deportations and the immigration crackdown, which has been a big part of Trump's second term already. Then we'll move to the economy and some other stuff. But I found it, S2. Trump borders our vows to bring hell to Boston amid resistance to ICE immigration crackdown. So I don't know if you all caught this or not, but Boston released 9 illegals that have been charged with sexually molesting children and would not put ICE detainers on them. So Tom's guys had to go and find them and arrest them, and now they're getting ready to deport them. But Sean, I'll go to you. Like, what kind of scumbag protects illegal aliens who've raped children here? Not where they came from. Maybe they did where they came from, but raped our children. How do you square that?
I mean, it's unbelievable. The U.S. federal government has become the biggest sex trafficking organization on the planet. It's ridiculous. I mean, President Trump is putting an end to that. He's Tom Homan, by catching all these illegals that have come over the southern border. I mean, you're really destroying the sex trafficking rings that the CIA was running. And that's what it's about. It's about, and Tom was very passionate about going after, the predators that are hunting down our children and our grandchildren. That is something he's passionate about.
So none of the three of us are attorneys, obviously, but we have plenty of attorneys in our circle. So I'll ask you both the same question. You first, Sean, and then S2. by not honoring these ICE detainers, do you think that that could be interpreted as shielding these illegals from ICE and deportation, and therefore they're guilty of, that's a crime, you know? And Tom says he's going to start charging people over it, which I love to see. But Sean, I'll go to you first.
Oh,
See,
that would be awesome.
it's actionable.
That would be awesome. Awesome to see him charge AOC. I think that's the rumors that he might charge her for, protecting the illegals, because let's be honest. I mean, they were doing that for replacement, getting replacement voters, and to 50 million plus. I mean, you could sway, and Elon has talked about openly, for swing states that can be swung on 20,000 votes or so. You're bringing in 2, 4, 5 million, 6 million people. It's like, oh my goodness, it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, we've mentioned this pretty frequently, Sean. When you look at the numbers for liberals in general, they don't breed, they don't have children. So in order to have voters going forward, they have to import illegals and they have to indoctrinate our children. And that explains their MO, like why they're doing it. But S2, what are your thoughts on the officials in Boston not honoring ICE detainers and letting these people go free?
That's called aiding and abetting the enemy.
Right.
That's 100% treason, or giving aid and comfort, I think is the proper term for it. But they're aiding and abetting criminals, and that's a conspiracy, or at least it's party to being in a conspiracy. There was some other piece of this that I wanted to comment on, something you did just mention, and I can't remember what it was right now. So,
well, when it comes back, just speak up. But it seems to me, one last question for you, Sean. Give me your impression, then I'll move to the next one. That the liberals, the wokes, the progressives, whatever you want to call them, have been able to get away with breaking the law for so long that they no longer think it applies to them, in my opinion. And that's what this stuff that's protecting illegals. I don't think they believe there will ever be consequences.
I mean, they've gone on for so many decades, running these operations where they're clearly breaking the law, but their power has continued to clearly grow. And of course, they've co-opted a lot of the quote Republicans, and Trump is weeding them out, and they're being exposed. So praise God for the work Elon is doing and all the digital warriors on X. Everybody's exposing these people and then sharing it. That participation of keeping the public servants, accountable is absolutely critical.
100%. So before we bounce back to S2, thoughts on MSNBC firing Joy Reid. And the funny thing is Tom Homan a couple days ago said that she's dumber than a box of rocks. But I mean, I guess she got her justice hurt, right? This is karma as far as I'm concerned. Dude, you want to add anything to that, Sean, seeing her getting fired?
She's definitely a little crybaby. Yeah, definitely low IQ crybaby that was pushing the Democrat BlackRock talking points every day.
So what's interesting to me is that now that this USAID, honeypot has been discovered, payments have been cut off. You got Politico can't make their payroll because they were selling these subscriptions for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was clearly money laundering, just bullshit to get positive press. But her numbers completely tanked as well. Now, I haven't heard anybody tie her to USAID, but it's interesting how these people who were propping up the previous administration with outright lies all of a sudden are dropping like flies. I mean, it's glorious to see it. S2?
Well, if you want to see how these people are tied to, I wouldn't even say it would be USAID. There's another group that Maxine Waters is tied to that I'm pretty sure that all of these female, The View and those pieces of garbage are attached to. And I'm sure if I wanted to go down that rabbit hole and dig, because I've got all of the files, I can go down and I can dig that trail out and I can find their connection to it. Because one of the other things we're finding out now too is that, so it seems that if we start on one end with an organization and we start tracking the trail of the money, there is no real trail of money that actually starts with the government. It somehow filters back through, but where it's really starting at is with these foundations like the HP Foundation, the Hewlett Packard Foundation. if you go out and you read the Hewlett Packard Foundation's website, they're one of the foundations that are pushing the woke ideology. Well, guess what? Where do they get their money from? They're getting their money from donors. They're getting their money from corporations, from trusts within places like Fidelity, Schwab, and things like that. So they're getting their money indirectly into these organizations that are pushing this ideology through everything, and then it comes back around and goes full circle again. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of them. I started doing a tracking on one the other day called Southeastern Education Control. It was actually it was education control for the southeastern region, and it's actually a corporation. But the thing is it's not just about the Southeast. All of the governors and politicians from all over states as far out as Oklahoma and California belong to this organization. So
And I
It's
think she was famous for pushing the race ideology, constantly hammering, kind of beating us over the head. Oh, America, you're racist, you're racist. I mean, just go out in the street, go to your local gas station. America is the least racist. Go to a different country. You will see real racism in different countries. America is the least racist country on the planet. And it's like people don't see that on the ground if you go meet people. But she just kept on trying to create that echo chamber of, oh, everybody's a white supremacist, everybody's racist, everybody hates black people. And even the black community turned against her. They overwhelmingly went for Trump. They're not a monolithic, So it's I think people got sick of it. The constant propaganda, the race propaganda.
They got tired of her projection.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that always gets me on that stuff, Sean, is this whole thing that we can't have voter ID because blacks aren't smart enough to get a driver's license or ID. I've never met a black person ever who didn't have ID, couldn't get ID. It's so racist that.
Oh my gosh.
That, and did you catch Kathy Hochul? I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. She said, well, we have these inner city black kids. They don't even know what a computer is. They've never seen a computer. They don't know what a computer is. I'm thinking to myself, wow, could y'all be any more racist? I mean, just outlandish stuff, right? Anyway,
well, that's the Democrat Party. They were the very first ones to ban the first Civil Rights Act.
True. All right. So
people were being burned alive on the subway, as you remember, in New York.
Yeah. And that was, she went on air 48 hours before that to profess how safe they had made the subway system in New York. I mean, that was a horrible development. But I've got two more articles left on the 5 things that I think Trump's really been kicking ass at. And of course, this is the deportation immigration part of it. So Ron DeSantis expands major crackdown on illegal immigration with new directives. So basically, we've got law enforcement now in Florida have been empowered to enforce immigration law and detain people and hand them over to ICE. Ron DeSantis, it really pisses me off. He was a really good governor, and he still is a good governor. And then Paul Ryan convinced him that he could win the Republican nomination. And he really stepped on his dick. I think that he was a strong contender for the presidency in 2028. And I can't get over it, to be honest with you. I think he hit the ceiling at being our governor, and I don't foresee him going past that, no matter how many of these good things he does. That was really bad. But I mean, what were your thoughts, Sean, when you heard him come out against Trump and being buddy-buddy with Paul Ryan, of all people?
Oh, my goodness. It was ridiculous. I 100% agree with your sentiment. If he just was patient and waited and just, supported President Trump, which he was doing before. I mean, it was just kind of ridiculous because it just reeked of, if you're buddy with Paul Ryan and the dying Rhino class, when you get up to DC, we know you're going to change. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, nobody's going to trust you. He kind of killed his own career.
He did. He was very opportunistic over it. And it's a shame because, like I said, I thought he stood a pretty strong chance in 2028, if not for president, potentially a VP candidate. But I don't see that happening anymore. And just for our audience too, we've got a lot of new viewers. We're on broadcasting to 8 different platforms. None of us in the survival dispatch world are Republicans. We are libertarians, lowercase L. We are conservative Christians, patriots, whatever you want to call us, but we're not part of this dynamic of Democrats and Republicans. And I've been saying since the late 1990s, Sean, that the Democrats and Republicans are just two different sides of the same coin. And,
Yeah.
The past couple of years, we've heard people coin this word uniparty, but it's the same thing we've been saying for a long, long time. So anyway, at the end of the day, it's kind of a shame what Ron did. But on the flip side, he has been a good governor for us here in Florida. He's done a lot of good for our state, which makes it even more of a shame. S2, do you want to add any insight to Ron DeSantis?
I just thought when he was trying to run get the nomination, that I was thinking, oh boy, here we go. We got another globalist trying to weasel his way in there, just like bird brain.
Yeah, well, good fine point you just put on that. All right. So the last article or post that I have up with regards to the deportations, mass immigration, this is pretty interesting. I didn't see Kristi Noem as being as much of a hard ass as she really is. And when Tom Homan started saying, she's a tough lady, she's way tougher than he anticipated, I was paying attention, thinking to myself, oh, come on now. She's not really that tough. She damn skippy she is.
She was the only state in the union that did not shut anything down. Nothing.
She's a killer on this deportation immigration stuff. So this particular post is Kristi Noem revokes protected status for 500,000 Haitians, opens them up for deportation. I guess that means our cats and dogs are going to be a little bit safer, but
the ducks too.
The ducks. What else? There was something in New York City.
Canadian geese.
Yeah, geese. Yeah. They show the guy catching one, breaking its neck, taking it back to his food.
Oh my gosh!
And
well, they can have the Canadian geese. They just shit all over everything.
So, Sean, what's your impression been of Kristi Noem? I think that she's second only to Rubio as far as the most improved politician of the year.
Oh, she's, I think there was definitely concerns when she first walked in, when Trump was kind of appointing her, is she going to be strong? Is she going to, she may just be a kind of a weak leader, but she's been on the front line, like, with Tom Homan and everything. It looks like they have great synergy. And, I don't think people understand if the Democrats had brought in tens of millions of illegals, to basically steal America from the American citizens. And so that's a major seditious conspiracy. And the job that Tom and Kristi is doing is absolutely critical to bringing back, just justice and law and order back into American politics and just life in general. Because, our country almost died. We were so close to being taken over. So I think,
and I would argue we're not out of the woods yet,
Yes, of course, yes.
So, we've discussed this in the past, and when Trump first got sworn in, there were a number of people saying he didn't learn anything because he's issuing all these executive orders, and I'd heard him speak in person saying, look, we got to do the executive orders to act fast, but then we're going to have Congress codify those executive orders in law so they're not so easily overturned. And, if we don't get that stuff codified, we'll be in trouble again. The globalists will try to steal another election. Maybe they'll succeed in stealing another election. God forbid, but they're not done taking shots at Donald Trump. I don't know if you all caught this or not. It was breaking news. The desk in the Oval Office was discovered to have bugs in it, meaning surveillance bugs. And God bless the Secret Service they were scanning the office and they kept getting these anomalies coming up as far as radio frequencies were concerned. And it all led back to that desk. And so they took the desk away to study it more in depth and the devices that are in it. But Richard Nixon got, impeached and thrown out of office over recording conversations. Today, Team Obama, which is really John Brennan, I don't think they give a shit about any of this stuff at all, to be quite frank. Did you catch it, Sean, with the surveillance equipment?
Oh, I did. You sent me that. You sent me that article, and that's the first time I saw that. But that is not surprising. Not surprising at all.
They should not have publicized that. They should have just done what they needed to do so they could triangulate where the communications was going.
And maybe they have, but that's a great point. Sometimes it's better to keep stuff close to your chest. A great comment here from Robert, by the way. I would collect those Patriot playing cards and I would stack gnome. I don't disagree with that at all. Velcro weighed in somewhere here, but we got so many comments going through. Like what you all see for comments on the platform you're on is like 1/8. We get them all aggregated into one spot into StreamYard here. So they just screen, they go by my screen like this. But Velcro said, I've never been to Brazil before. I'd like to hear if you have, but he said Brazil is ultra racist. He was, commented on the stuff from prior, your comment, Sean, about other countries being racist. Have you been to Brazil? I've never been to Brazil.
Yes, no, I used to, my father used to take us down there to fish the Amazon River every summer.
No kidding.
Yeah. And Campo Grande, the deep jungle area.
So what was your impression then of society in Brazil? I'm not assuming Velcro's wrong. He's usually wrong. But
there's like in Sao Paulo where I also trained jiu-jitsu there as well. I got my yellow belt there when I was I was like 16. I think when I got my yellow belt in jiu-jitsu, I was training down in Brazil too, in Sao Paulo. But yeah, they have a big Japanese population. They have the biggest Japanese population outside of Japan in the world. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, it depends like where you're at, but Sao Paulo has a big Japanese population, big Asian population.
Interesting. All right. So those are all the points that we have on one of the 5 things that Trump's hammered down on in the first term. Do either one of you want to add anything to the deportations, immigration stuff before we move on to the economy?
I want a yard gnome.
That's funny. Spelled NOEM, not GNOME. That's good. All right. So next one up here. Oops, give me just a second to pull this up. We could really use a producer SDN, just saying. All right. So Trump, we were the richest relatively from 1870 to 1913. So just to reiterate from some previous episodes, the IRS was brought about for tax purposes to fund the First World War for us, but it was meant to be temporary. It was never meant to be permanent. And now Trump is hell-bent and determined to nuke the IRS, go external revenue service. And I'll mention this number again. We will hit 31 trillion for our GDP this year. China is going to struggle to get to 19 trillion this year. And after that, it falls off a cliff. And when you're in a position that we're in, it is a privilege for other countries to be able to tap into our economy. We have the wealthiest, biggest economy by an order of magnitude, regardless of all the problems we've had along the way. And Trump is thinking way outside the box. People are concerned. Some people are concerned that tariffs are going to raise prices, but imagine you're not paying any income tax. And the tariff might add 10, 15, 20% to it, but you're not paying all the money out in income tax, number one. And number two, it's been shown that your disposable income will rise. Just imagine getting rid of all the tax code and everything and coming back to consumption. Those who spend the most money will pay the most in taxes. And I think that's a fair situation. I mean, give me your thoughts on tariffs, actually, both of you. Sean first before we move into this one.
Oh, we were talking about it right after service, and Justin was kind of breaking it down. He's the real economist, in our family. But he was breaking it down, and basically, in a nutshell, I mean, he was saying if Trump can basically get rid of the income tax and the tariffs are basically, like in the 1960s, Toyota had tariffs on them, but how they got around that was just manufacturing in the States. So it really is an incentive for companies to come into the United States, build and manufacture here. And of course, that just, strengthens our economy, et cetera. He definitely went into the numbers, into how, if we're able to, grow our economy by 3%, et cetera, we'll be able to pay off debt. And he he was talking about after World War II, I believe it was. We had a national debt to GDP ratio that was like at a certain level that was actually higher than it is currently now. So we have actually paid off that debt to GDP ratio before. So it's not impossible. And he was saying that he believes that President Trump is moving in that direction, getting rid of the income tax, have the international corporations and conglomerates basically helping to pay for the things in the United States by the tariff system. So I just wanted to add that because we were talking about it right after service.
No, that's a fantastic point on your part. It absolutely provides incentive for those manufacturers to manufacture here. So we're going to have corporate tax rates similar to Ireland, so the lowest in the world. And if there's tariffs existing, it makes a whole lot of sense for them to bring that manufacturing to the United States. I mean, it's a win-win across the board for us, no matter how you look at it. And he's the only one who's been thinking outside the box like this, which is impressive. S2, what are your general thoughts on tariffs in particular?
Well, I tend to look at things like this in a little bit of a bigger frame. I'm actually thinking that he's trying to get us back to the gold standard. I mean, with all of the hullabaloo going on with where's the gold and let's go audit the gold and then let's audit the Fed and all of this other stuff. I see him setting up a parallel economy right now, and with that way, there is some sort of a backstop there just in case. And we know that the globalists and all of the Black Rocks and those folks, they're going to try to collapse the current system. And is it going to be a little painful? Yeah, it's going to be a little painful, but I don't know for how long, but I do see this happening. And I do believe that is the direction that he's going with this. So as far as tariffs go, it's the right step in that direction, because it essentially sends you on a path of where you're self-funding yourself without self-funding yourself.
Yeah, I think he's moving things in the right direction myself as well. So, all right, we'll move on to the next piece. Actually, I didn't play this video. Let me play the video first, 56 seconds.
Word tariff is my favorite word in the dictionary. We were the richest relatively from, think of this, from 1870 to 1913. That was our richest because we collected tariffs from foreign countries that came in and took our jobs and took our money, took our everything. But they charged tariffs, and we had so much money, they set up the 1887. Think of that, a long time ago, 1887 Tariff Commission. It was a commission of very important people to determine where we should spend all of the tremendous, vast wealth that we had. We had so much wealth. Wouldn't it be nice today? Of course, now we give it away to transgender this, transgender that. Everybody gets a transgender operation. It's just wonderful. We give it away like to crazy things. But in those days, it was different. It was a different world. It was a different country. But we were very rich because of tariffs. Word tariff is my...
All right, so we've covered the tariffs. Up next is the External Revenue Service, and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick here and his comments on it. It's 57 seconds with Jesse Wires. We'll play this and then get y'all's input.
Think about it. Donald Trump announces the External Revenue Service, and his goal is very simple. His goal is to abolish the Internal Revenue Service and let all the outsiders pay. I mean, this is someone who is focused on America. Let's drive down our waste, fraud, and abuse. I'll give you an example. Cruise ships. You ever see a cruise ship with an American flag on the back? They have flags of like Liberia or Panama. None of them pay taxes. None of them pay taxes. Every super tanker, none pays taxes. Alcohol, all foreign alcohol, no taxes. This is going to end under Donald Trump, and those taxes are going to be paid, and Americans' tax rates are going to come down. That's what Donald Trump wants to do. Balance our budget and cut our taxes. I mean, imagine a Democratic senator going against that. What planet are these people on?
Yeah, insanity. So let me just preface y'all's comments with this. Our federal government brings in just a little over $5 trillion a year in revenue and spends a little over $7 trillion. So a $2 trillion a year deficit to start with. Okay. So Elon is pretty confident that he will have found $2 trillion in savings imminently. Okay. So that would get you to a balanced budget. But I've heard other people posit that there may be 3 or 4 trillion that's easily nuked out of the federal budget. And then, Sean, that puts us into the situation you were describing, where we would have those funds available to pay off the debt and really turn the country around. So we touched on this briefly with tariffs and the External Revenue Service. But just out of curiosity, I mean, you've been hanging out with Donald Trump Jr., you've been at Mar-a-Lago. I'm sure you've been part of some really interesting conversations. How much do you think we can cut out of that $7 trillion a year that we're spending at the federal level?
I mean, I think President Trump is going after it. You know, he's all systems go under under what he's doing right now, and I think he's definitely going at it. He's taking a hatchet to the spending. And I mean, I just want to say with the you know, with the IRS, I mean, they are. I mean, that's like, it really is a criminal organization. You're coming after people, you know, for all these taxes that are not even constitutional. It's a real organization of theft. And President Trump has been talking very clearly about getting rid of the income tax. And, you know, we were talking also at the table today about, you know, that Justin was saying, as the economist, he was saying that people talk about the Federal Reserve and getting rid of the Federal Reserve. And the real problem with the Fed is that they keep, you know, doing rising interest rates that are lowering, play around with the inflation, basically with the inflation button. That really what hurts America and, you know, corporate companies and families, et cetera, is you just keep on playing with this inflation button, which is basically a hidden tax on the people. And so even if Trump nationalized the Federal Reserve and brought it under the Treasury, which it should be under, and if they continued the same policies as the Fed, we would still have the problem with inflation and the hidden taxes and all this kind of stuff. So I think President Trump is aware of those things, and you know, he of course wants to attack the $7 trillion, but at the same time, I think he's trying to pursue policies that are going to, in the end, be an aggregate net benefit for the people. You know, get rid of our income tax, with the tariffs, the companies and different products that are coming in. I mean, these are all great, revolutionary kind of things that we have not seen in our lifetime, you know, as Americans. But he's bringing it back to that Andrew Jackson period. It looks like he is going to go after the Fed and the IRS and every institution that these globalists and leftists, well, you know, the communists really need. He's doing a real bad job as Hitler. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's trying to essentially transform the country. I mean, one of the things that really bothers me with the current system is you make money, you pay income tax on that money, you buy something with that money, you sell it for over $600, and then have to pay taxes on whatever you gain from selling something. So not only did you pay income tax on it, you paid sales tax when you bought whatever the thing is. Now you're paying more income tax on the same money because you sold it, you decided to get rid of it. And then unless you're putting that money into your savings and you spend that money again, you're paying more sales tax. You're paying property tax on your home forever. I mean, our founders lost their shit over a 2-3% tax on tea, but we just keep taking it over and over and over again. It's just insane. As to how much do you think we can cut out of this $7 trillion year, you know, budget that we've been spending at the federal level? Pardon me.
Well, you know, the numbers that they're not even talking about is all of the people that they're laying off or they're getting rid of right now, is how much do each one of those employees, nobody's even figured what those numbers are yet. When you figure the amounts of salary, pension, insurance benefits, things of that nature, when you figure those into your money that you're saving out of just getting rid of useless people out of the government, I think that should go into that factor as well. And I'm not hearing anybody talk about those numbers.
Good
The
point.
one thing I will say about abolishing the IRS is I hope they don't do it before they audit all of the politicians.
Well,
Yes.
that's good. So I don't know what the numbers are in the government side, but in private industry, all the things that you just referred to is the burden, the employee burden, right? And it's usually 1-to-1. So in other words, every dollar that you pay the employee, you're burdened with another dollar of expenses to cover things like their health insurance and everything else that goes with having employees. It wouldn't surprise me that if the government employees weren't another order of magnitude above that. So it's not you raise a really good point. It's not just the salary that you're paying these people. It's the burden on top of the salary, which again, in private industries, typically double what you pay in the end of the day. So if you have $100,000 payroll a week, when the dust all settles, it's $200,000 a week, not 100,000. So,
Well, and there's also another factor too. You know, we have all of our supposed allies that are coming against us, you know, in Europe and things like that. Well, why don't we just call their notes due also? Because they owe us a shit ton of money. Let's just call their notes due and say, "Yep, we want it. We want our notes for helping you rebuild your country after you fucked it up with World War II."
yeah, no kidding. All right, next piece up here on the economic side. So I don't know who this Dean Blundell is, but it took 6 weeks to bring back inflation, kickstarted depression, jack egg prices up to $13 a carton, and make the U.S. a global laughing stock. There's so much winning. I don't know what alternate universe this idiot's living in. So Aaron Stevens responds, really, we have not received February inflation numbers yet, and Trump was president for just 10 days in January when egg prices already increased by double digits. By the way, 100 million chickens were killed under Biden because some of them were suspected. A handful were suspected to have bird flu. None of it was proven. So if you kill 100 million chickens in December, big surprise, the price of chicken and eggs goes up in January, and for some time after that until we replenish those numbers. It kills me how the Democrats will put something out in the media, the legacy media, the Mockingbird media, and dumb people like this grab a hold of it and run with it without even thinking through the process. Well, wait a minute, Trump hasn't been in office for any of this stuff, and we already know what Trump's capable of doing with the economy like he did last time. But to you first, Sean, your thoughts on the chicken stuff in particular. How could people not connect 100 million chickens being euthanized to increase price? This is simple economics. Reduce the supply with the same demand, and what happens? Prices go up. It's not complex.
Yeah, it's kind of following a trend also on TikTok where the lefties are going to Mexico and they're saying like, look how cheap the eggs are down here, and Trump eggs are so expensive in America. But again, Biden just ordered 100 million chickens to be killed in America, so that's it's obvious. But it seems like President Trump is cutting so much waste out of the federal government. I think it's not going to be a problem for him to import eggs from Mexico and have them pay for it.
I love it. S2, your thoughts on these claims that Trump fucked up the economy, which, by the way, I'd like to hear both of your opinions. I'll come back to you, Sean, after S2 about making us the laughing stock. Really? Is that why everybody's falling in line just like that? But S2, speak to the chickens, and Sean, back to you on this asshole's claim that we're the laughing stock of the world.
Well, this dickhead's from Canada. What the hell does he know? Probably some freaking politician on top of that.
Could
But
be.
yeah, the bird flu thing, I'm going to say, I think we have another intelligent virus on our hands, because you know how COVID, if you sat down at a dinner table in a restaurant, you could take your mask down to eat because COVID never rose higher than or lower than 4 feet. So you're sitting down there. It was the smartest virus ever. And the bird flu must be the same way, because it seemed to have completely bypassed Mexico. Because they got chickens.
Stopped at the border.
They got chickens and it figured out that it's too fucking hot to survive down there, so it said, nope, not going down there.
It couldn't cross the wall. It couldn't get over the wall.
There you go.
Well, hold on a second. Now I got to ask this question: is how come the bird flu only infects the two things that we eat the most of in America, chicken and beef?
I know it didn't hit any. It didn't hit the bird, the crows, the pelicans, the ducks. Didn't hit any of that. Just the chickens.
I know, that's one. Like, how do you figure?
I'm telling you, it's a smart virus.
And usually, viruses and things like that, they get stronger as they move to warmer temperatures, not weaker.
Right. So anyway, we don't know who this Dean Blundell is, but you can tell by the position of his wrist that he's queerer than a $3 bill. And I suspect that you have seen this executive order, Sean, but if you haven't, if anybody in our audience hasn't seen it, we don't make the rules. We just follow the rules. And we've, been adhering to this executive order from Donald Trump here.
Today, I am signing an executive order making it legal to call your friends fags and retards
if they are doing fags and retards, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to start calling our presidents again, and we will. We're going to call them fags and retards again.
So listen, we don't make up the rules. We just follow them. This guy looks like a fag and a retard to me. He's not a friend, so maybe I shouldn't call him that. I mean, it depends how you interpret the executive order here, right? But
You should ask him if he's got a problem with chickens up in Canada.
right. So what was there? There was a guy, I think it was in Great Britain. We had a story maybe a week ago or so. This is crazy, where this guy got arrested because he was having sex with his chickens in the basement and his wife was filming it and putting it on the internet.
I heard that.
What is wrong with these people? Are demon possessed? My God!
And the first question I had was, how do you even do that?
Well, I mean, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, he's got to have 2 wrinkles and a helmet, and that's about it. Because, I mean, it just doesn't compute, right? How do you rape a chicken?
Oh, people are crazy.
Sean, welcome back to Survival Dispatch News. By the way, we've taken it down a couple notches as far as our whatever you want to call it, morality, whatever. Anyway, we'll move on to the next.
You're reporting a real story. So
well, again, I mean,
it's so insane that it's actually happening. Like, golly, it's crazy.
Well, we're not lawbreakers, so we want to make sure we follow Trump's executive order. So, anyway, so this crazy lady here, and I heard somebody say there was a study done. Couldn't find the study, but that she has or had the lowest ratings ever for anybody's show on Fox News. I don't know if that's true or not because I couldn't verify it, but either way, she's droning on here about how there's been this massive drop in support for Trump and Elon Musk and Doge. And she says there were a bunch of polls, but the polls are CNN polls. So we're definitely living in a strange world where Fox News is quoting CNN polls like they're gossip. It's a minute and a half. I probably won't play the whole thing, enough to get the gist of it. Then back to you, Sean.
But what James Carville is referring to is this huge drop in support for President Trump and for Elon Musk and what he's doing at Doge. So there were a bunch of polls that came out. CNN has 2-to-1. People are upset about Musk having such a prominent role in the government. Trump's approval rating is down 5 to 7 points across 4 of these big polls. He's underwater on managing the economy, which is obviously what handed him the presidency, 8 points underwater. And then in terms of how the public is feeling, not only reflected in those numbers, did you see those town halls that were going on last night? So Rich McCormick in Georgia, safe seat, people booing him, catcalling. They're concerned with everything from spending cuts to what's going on with Doge to that Donald Trump is becoming a tyrant. Cliff Bentz in Oregon, similar reaction. This guy, Tony Balderson, he's in a Trump plus 18 district in Ohio, saying Trump's executive orders are getting out of control. They are hearing from the American public that what is going on from the Oval Office to CPAC, which is, Pam Bondi being at CPAC seems like a politicization of the office, to say the least, is not what the American public wanted. They wanted someone to come in to get the economy back on track. That hasn't been happening. They wanted a different vision of getting rid of illegal immigrants. They wanted people who are actually convicted of crimes to be the ones getting kicked out, not just picking up anyone who speaks Spanish. So that's what Carville's saying, and I think it's good.
All right, so first and
Carville's
foremost,
a fucking retard.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, she doesn't have a show on Fox. She's the main Democrat commentator.
Okay,
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and as to, I mean, Carville's one of the whiniest old lady bitches I've ever seen in my life. Why anybody pays any attention to what that old lady says is beyond me. But she's so full of shit here, and it's all easily disproven. I'm going to give you both a shot to do that. But this is the direct result of the piggy bank, the slush fund, getting dismantled by Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Doge. So all of these people have been benefiting from it. So, Sean, my opinion on this is that anybody who right now is lashing out is either has been directly benefiting from this massive slush fund, trillions of dollars, or they're just complete idiots, or they're both. Like AOC would be an example of both. And as far as, my generation down, so I'm a Gen Xer, we have no trust in the legacy media at all in my generation and down. And the generation ahead of me, the baby boomers, they're about 50-50. So some of those people, they're a product of their environment. They were raised believing they could trust the government and media. But go ahead, just speak to this lady's stuff, because this is propaganda. That's all it is. This is not truthful reporting.
I mean, this is the same lady that was, defending the Democrat Party, the Rhino Republicans, the endless wars, the COVID lockdowns. This is the same. I think she was the chief strategist or one of the strategists under Obama or something like that. So she's definitely a crazy lefty. But she was the one gaslighting people when we were saying that the media, legacy media, is in cahoots with the federal bureaucracies under the Obamas and under the Bidens, et cetera, that they're weaponized the media and lawfare, et cetera. She was gaslighting the entire American people, constantly saying, "Oh, you people are just into your zany conspiracy theories with your tinfoil hats." I mean, she's been that girl on Fox, so nobody takes her seriously, and it's obvious why her ratings are so low.
Yeah, agreed. S2, I want to hear your thoughts on this. It's just propaganda, but I want to hear your take on it.
What can I say? I mean, anything further beyond this is just propaganda, is just giving her more screen time.
Fair enough. So I'll add one more point to this. What Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Doge and the whole team have been doing is exactly what I voted for.
Amen.
I don't know who she is to tell me what I voted for. I know what I voted for. I voted for mass deportations. I voted for all this fraud to be uncovered, exposed, and fixed. I voted for Trump because I want to see accountability on the part of the people who've raped our freaking country. There have to be consequences. Sean, I'll tell you straight up, if we don't see charges and incarcerations, I will lose complete faith in our system.
Yes. And as Ivan says, there has to be capital punishment. I mean,
yes,
those are crimes of seditious conspiracy against the U.S. and treason. Those are on the books, just in terms of on the books, that's punishable by death. So those are serious crimes. And, if
so
the government official, yeah.
Well, I've mentioned this on SDM before, and I can't remember if you and I have discussed it. S2 and I have, but Todd Callender is a good friend of mine and business partner. And one of his researchers discovered that there was no oath of office for Jack Smith. And when she went back to Todd, he said, well, just go ahead and FOIA the entire Biden cabinet. Let's see where they stand. Not one person had a valid oath of office that was in his cabinet. And I'm not an attorney. I'm a college dropout. And I said to Todd, I said, okay, well, what does that mean? And he said, well, if you have a valid oath of office and you're in the cabinet or anywhere else in the government and you're found guilty of treason, it's the death penalty comes into play, right? He said, however, if you don't have a valid oath of office, the biggest crime you could be charged with is being an imposter, posing as a government official, which carries a maximum 5 years in prison. So the fact that none of these people have valid oaths of office tells you they were hedging against this potential scenario folding, right? But I've got something else still coming up. I think it's under the J6 section, pardon me, that the pardon that Biden gave all those people on the J6 committee, for example, who I believe committed treason, is very narrow in scope. And we'll get to that in a minute. But
yeah, it seems like even if that's true, I mean, he could still go after, for example, like General Mark Milley, who was, he committed treason against the U.S., saying that he would alert the Chinese CCP government about President Trump's actions if he was going to take any. So that's definitely treason. He could definitely court-martial him.
He took control of our military, for crying out loud. It wasn't just China. He went to the military and said, no orders from anybody but me are to be acted upon. So anyway, before we move into the next piece here, which is social policies on Trump's part, there's the story right there. Pakistani Muslim Rehan Beg was sentenced to 3 years in prison for raping a chicken. It turned out it was more than one chicken. It was multiple chickens. His wife Halima recorded the rape. These are the kinds of degenerates that whoever this Dr. So-and-so wants to bring to Ireland. So just for anybody who's wondering, we weren't making that up. Like, that's a real story.
Save the chickens, please.
Yeah.
Golly.
Hey,
Yeah,
Chris, I want to make a couple of comments on
Let her
what
rip.
we were just talking about. So, 18 USC Chapter 115, treason, sedition, and subversive activity. Regardless of whether those people had oaths of office on file and they were trying to get away with only doing 5 years in prison, that's not going to save them. That's one reason. Secondly, the states all have aiding and abetting laws. So if they were aiding and abetting the movement of illegal aliens into this country, they are liable by each state that they are representing because they did this.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I'm just repeating what Todd told me. And I'm pretty sure that immigration falls 100% under the feds. But either way, it doesn't matter what the outcome would be. What matters is their intention. Their intention was to try and, mitigate any potential accountability on their part, which just speaks volumes towards them at the end of the day. All right. So now we're moving into some of the social stuff, and kind of interesting that Maine school children are performing very poorly. They're flooded with illegals who do not speak English, dozens of languages spoken. Teachers will have to qualify to teach non-speaking illegals, and the governor doesn't care. So the governor of Maine, I'm guessing you caught this, Sean, Janet Mills, who's a dude. Like that's a guy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That is a dude. Told Trump that they're going to go ahead and let men and women and boys compete in women and girls sports. And I don't know if you saw the exchange at the White House where Donald Trump said, well, you better follow the law. And she said, we are following the law, state and federal. And he said, we are the federal law and you aren't getting a dang penny. So you've got some transgender wacko essentially posing as a woman, dressing up as a woman, who's the governor of Maine, who's thumbing his nose at Donald Trump. By the way, when Donald Trump described the conversation afterwards in an interview, he called the governor of Maine. He kept saying, well, he's not a good guy or he's not a smart guy.
Oh my God.
If nothing else, people should find out Donald Trump won't say something like that unless he has definitive proof. And he just doesn't say things like that. He's a smart guy, but
oh my gosh.
Or maybe he was just trolling after everybody else picked up on it.
I don't know, but it was funny as hell either way. So let's kick this off with the social policy changes, but I also want to pull the Department of Education in. So I'm sure you're aware, Sean, when Jimmy Carter formed the Department of Education, I think it was 78, 79, we were number one in the world across the board for our students' scores in everything, okay? And the latest numbers put us at number 40 in the world, but we spend way more per child than any other country in the world. And when you look at a chart from the inception of the Department of Education till now, you see this line that goes like this, which represents costs related to the administrative side, right? But if you look at the number of students, the increase over the years, it's a very gradual slope. So you got this big delta occurring between what we're spending and how many children are in the system. And it's turned into a complete debacle. It's like anything else, just follow the cash. So give me your thoughts, number one, on the Maine governor thumbing his nose at Donald Trump over the transgender crap. Then give me your thoughts on the transgender crap in general, on men and boys competing against girls and these idiots who say it's perfectly fine, and then wrap up on education. 3 things for you to swing at.
Oh my goodness. I didn't hear that part where President Trump post his exchange with the governor of Maine. What kept on saying he? I didn't know that. That's hilarious. That's so incredible. But he buried that person like completely. I mean, he basically said, "You have no political career after this. You know, you're committing political suicide. Your main the hill you want to die on is to allow men to brutalize women in sports and take all their funding and all their trophies, etc., and all the hard work. You know, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. We run a martial art program for our young people, etc. And you know, the one thing about the great about the combat arts, boxing, MMA, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, is that you see very quickly the disparity between strength of men and women, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a really enlightening experience. I think anybody who's been through our martial art program, especially the young, you know, the young sisters, etc., we allow like 12 years old and up, because these are the hard arts. These are not the soft like Taekwondo arts or some of that.
Okay.
So 12, you got to be over 12 years old to train. But anybody who's been through that program, like Jocko Willing says, they get completely humbled. You know what I mean? And they see the difference between the strength between a male and a female. So and so the sisters really wake up. You know, after they train jujitsu for even a couple weeks, they learn very quickly that, wow, the boys who I thought was like my size, I thought I could take, the strength differential is ridiculous. And on average, you're going to have males have about 21 times the testosterone of a woman. In terms of even MMA fighting, it's like if you can't fight another a man, if you're a guy, you can't fight another guy with more than 4 times the testosterone that is, if that was tested, you know, for performance enhancement. So you're talking about massive difference. And that's why we see the total brutalization of women who are letting these, quote, trans women, these men compete against the women. And literally you're seeing you know, like a domestic violence case like in front of your eyes. It's ridiculous. It's so absurd, and it's so dangerous, and it's so morally repugnant, because all the hard work, because the sisters got to work, the young women have to work as hard. You know, they're not going to be as strong as the males, but they do have to have a work ethic to compete against other females, and they got to put in that work. You know what I mean? So you're stripping all of that away from them, those girls that train hard, and they're earning that, you know, that rank in the female ranks, and you're just giving somebody who has 21 times the testosterone in their body, like steroids basically, and just letting them ravage them. It's a complete absurdity. And I think it's a total travesty. Thank God, like Riley Gaines and these folks really stood up and you know, they went through the ringer for that. But yeah, I think the trans community, like they're trying to bully women. Where are the feminists? Where are the feminists trying to defend women's, you know, sports, women's rights? This is ridiculous. So it's just such an insane.
So, Sean, I got a couple of videos up that we played last night, but I'm going to play them again. So 51-second videos, the first exchange, then the second one is the phone call calling.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it, because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports.
By the way, when you look around the room at all of the governors, they've all got this very blank stare on their face.
So you better comply, because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding. Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
I've just been given, there's a new Title IX.
So that was the first one, and here's the second one, Sean. So President Trump referred to Maine's Governor Janet Mills as he or him at least 6 times. You just know he did it on purpose. 23 seconds.
Referred to Governor Mills as he or him at least 6 times in that call.
Whatever is going on with him, radical left governor, he's announced the plan already. 75,000 migrants into Maine. That's only because they told him to do so. He's weak and ineffective. And they told him to do it. He's saying, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I will do it.
So now you've heard the rest of the story, Sean. So as to thoughts on those same 3 topics. So Janet Mills, letting men and boys compete against women, and the sad state of the Department of Education, especially the education of students in Maine.
She should be impeached. There's 2 rules that I live by, and one is that
I don't think I heard you right. Did you say she?
Whatever. Sorry, I hear the name Janet, and it's like, okay, I just call it Manet. But anyway, he should be impeached, because I live by 2 rules. One, we protect our women and we protect our children. And by allowing these mentally ill men into girls' sports is not protecting the kids. It's not protecting the women.
That's clearly a dude. I don't care what anybody says. That's a dude.
I've
That's
trained
some
in martial.
big hands there.
I've trained in martial arts for 30 years at least, and I teach women also. But my approach when I teach women is a lot different than when I'm training men. I tend to go at it a lot harder with men than I do with women. I generally let the women go at it with each other. Rather, I teach them something by demonstrating on a man and then let them go at it with themselves. Because for one thing you don't do as an instructor is you don't get involved in physical contact with your female students. That can put you in
Very
that can
important.
put you that can put you in compromising situations that just don't even want to do. Secondly, is that when you've trained as long as Sean and I have in the martial arts, you know that there are certain finesse things that you can do that can actually inflict a lot of pain, even if you don't necessarily hit somebody hard. I have my male students sometimes, I barely, or at least my perception is that I barely tap them. And they're like, ow. And I'm like, yeah, pussy.
Oh, too funny. Too funny. But
that's the point. But that's the point is that you don't put your women and your children in positions where they're going to get hurt. If you do that, then you're not a man.
Well, how about the Olympic boxing and the dude with the micro penis who, you know, I don't know if y'all caught that, but that dude who got the gold medal, he had to go have some test done or whatever, and they had to verify that he was a male. And of course, he had way more testosterone than the women. They turned around and said that he had a micro penis. So you can't make the stuff up. So he's got a small dick, so he thinks he's a woman. I don't know. Seems kind of strange to me, but that picture right there, that's a dude. I don't care what anybody says. That's a dude. And it's interesting you would mention Riley Gaines. So I have no idea who this Samantha McFarland is, but an attack on trans women is an attack on all women. Trans women are women, period. And your response, typing in all caps doesn't make what you're saying true.
Amen. Amen.
That's a great reply. Amen. So this trans stuff, I mean, whether you want to believe all this stuff or not. So Barack Obama, Barry Soetoro married Michelle, a man born Michael LaVaughn Robinson, quite possibly. I mean, the Ellen video with the junk flopping around, I'm assuming that y'all have seen that. Maine Governor Janet Mills, a man. Chuck Schumer married Iris, a man. President Macron married Brigitte, a man born Jean Michael Trudeau. George W. Bush married Barbara, a man born Aleister Crowley's son, Bob.
Whoa, didn't know that.
So, I mean, what's crazy when you pull this up is this one in particular, Chuck Schumer. This is not a woman. There's no
yeah.
Like, there's absolutely no way whatsoever. That's a dude over here. I mean, these two here, maybe not, whatever. But Chuck Schumer's wife, golly, come on.
Man. I want to see that and Stephen King in the same room at the same time.
Exactly. We actually covered that last night. It's funny you would say that. So true. So true. All right.
Have you followed Chris Candace Owens' very in-depth series about Macron's wife?
I have.
Well, wife, yeah.
Husband.
Husband. Yeah.
Whatever.
She's destroying that narrative. Like, yeah, she's completely exposing.
I know it's just insanity, but
incredible.
So the next one, we've got two more big topics that Trump has been hammered down on this first month here. So the next one's J6 pardons. So here's why the J6 committee slime balls are so nervous, even though they received pardons. The pardon is only for any prosecution resulting from activities while serving on the J6 committee, nothing else. It's not a blanket pardon. Schiff et al. Are puckered up for a reason. So then it's highlighted here. For any offenses committed for any offenses against the United States which they may have committed or taken part in, arising from or in any manner related to the activities or subject matter of the select committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. Nothing else.
Such as destroying evidence.
Yeah, which is a huge one, right? So actually pick that up and run with that, S2, for the people who aren't aware of that.
So I believe it was Trump who said, preserve all of your records. And Cheney and Schiff and who was that other dope?
Kissinger.
Well, Kinzinger, and there was another black guy. I can't remember what his name is. He's so forgettable. But they all destroyed when they went looking for the documentation that they had already destroyed all of that documentation ahead of time. So that's probably what they were getting what they were trying to be covered under.
Yeah. Sean, your thoughts on the J6er stuff?
Yeah. Goodness. I mean, I hope it's true. I think hopefully Cash can get on it. Oh, sorry about that. The dog is trying to get some snacks here. Yeah. I hope I hope they can get that J6 committee, because they clearly committed many federal crimes. And they need to be brought to justice. They tortured, hundreds of patriots with solitary confinement. The UN designated, I think it is as 14 to 17 days, as anything above that in solitary is a torture by the international courts.
Yeah, cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah, so it's designated as torture. So the U.S. government definitely committed torture against United States citizens, rid them of all due process. And the J6 committee was essential in getting those prosecutions and, tampering with the data and committing all those crimes, lying about it, et cetera. So they definitely need to be brought to justice. They did a tremendous treasonous, seditious act against the people.
I couldn't agree more. So let me play this video and then we'll get your input as well. S2, I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's 2 minutes long, but this is the J6 police officer, Michael Fanone, and on the reasons for Trump's pardons. This guy is absolutely a traitor. He's full of shit. He's so self-righteous and clutching his pearls and stuff. And I'm pretty sure I have the video of Enrique Tarrio going at him, and he's yelling at Enrique, "Oh, you're a traitor to the country," and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, this guy believes his own lies because himself and the circle he travels in has repeated the same lies so many times they actually believe their own bullshit.
And I warned America about, the dangers of making this choice that they've made. They didn't listen, so fuck them. And I'm going to go back to living my life, being a father, and and then Donald Trump pardoned 1,500 insurrectionists, hundreds of violent criminals who assaulted police officers at the Capitol on January 6th. Police officers like
did not happen. I'm going to stop the line right there. Just flat out didn't happen. Just like Joe Biden saying that he attended the 6 funerals for the 6 cops that were killed by, Donald Trump supporters. Didn't happen.
There were no cops killed.
Correct. Ashley Babbitt's the only one who was killed. And then the other lady had a heart attack and another guy had a heart attack. And we've had a bunch of J6ers on, Sean, like Colton Maccabee, and we had his wife, Sarah, on previous to that. But you were there. Describe J6 in your own words as far as what the lies this guy's been telling.
I mean, this guy is he's like the poster boy for the Nazi left. I mean, this is he's like the poster boy for federal, police corruption. It's just a ridiculous. He was out there crying and basically perjuring himself, calling all the folks insurrectionists. We were at J6. It was people were singing. We were singing "God Bless America." We were singing "Amazing Grace." People were standing in order, and then we started getting shot. And that it was clearly set up, by the Fedsurrection, clearly elements within the Capitol Police and the, DHS, et cetera, all the different organs that Ivan is always talking about, CIA, FBI. They had it organized where they were, they had a plan. I mean, they were shooting tear gas at us. They were shooting it behind us to try to push us into the line with the shields and create the optics of, quote, an insurrection because it was peaceful. It was very peaceful. Literally, we were singing Amazing Grace and God Bless America songs. It was like ridiculous.
How many people did you see brandish or shoot a gun?
Nobody. It was I guess if it was an insurrection, it was an unarmed insurrection. It
was a mostly peaceful insurrection.
If it wasn't for the feds that were breaking the windows at Antifa.
So, I mean, the obvious question is how do you have an insurrection where there were no guns?
Yeah.
None of those guys were killed. I mean, Michael Byrd killed Ashley Babbitt. That's the only murder. That's the only.
And he got promoted. He promoted for that.
And he got a lot of money for it. And that's my next. I'm going to ask you both to just speculate on this, and I'll speculate it on myself. I have a feeling that they're going to find that this guy received money for, basically his bullshit testimony. And I think it's ongoing as well. Somebody's put some money in his pocket and is probably continuing to put money in his pocket. And you can't hide that stuff. Not the way things are today. Every single transaction is traced. You cannot send money to anybody in the world without leaving a trail behind it. So, Sean, what do you think? I think he's a paid for stooge myself.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Cash is going to get definitely behind, he's going to get into it. And even with the pipe bombs, that they were planning and all the stuff that the FBI just currently released with the video. I mean, Cash is definitely going to go into it because they had clear video of the quote pipe bomber talking to the police car right across the street. And then he walked casually over, he placed the pipe bomb. And even when the bomb squad comes, people were just moseying around the pipe bomb. It's like,
yeah,
that's not usually protocol for a bomb.
They came right out of the FBI training bomb room.
There you go. You want to add anything on this clown, Stu?
He's just a dick.
All right,
that's all I can say.
We can roll with that.
Definitely needs to be investigated.
Yeah, 100%. So this next one here is a really bad deal. So it's been a month since J6 prisoners received their pardons. Thank God. Yet J6 prisoner Jeremy Brown, former Green Beret Master Sergeant for 20 plus years, is still in prison. 1 month later, his case is different. Please pray for Jeremy, a good man. So he's one of the J6ers that they've been bouncing around from one prison to another. Now, I can't prove this, but I've spoke to some people, and I'm not going to reveal their names just yet because they asked me not to, but said that he was beat up really, really bad by guards and is refusing to sign an NDA and is going to spill the beans on the abuse that the J6 people received, him in particular. So I can only speculate on that based on what I've been told, which is another reason I'm not saying what their names are because it's hearsay. But do either one of you have any insight or extra information on Jeremy and why he's still incarcerated?
I know that the FBI had a hard on for him because they came and they tried to recruit him to be one of the spies for them with J6. They wanted him to be one of the antagonists in the crowd. Wanted him to gather intelligence on people in the crowd. And they had a real hard on for him because he took video of them coming and trying to recruit him. He took sound recordings.
Wow.
He has all kinds of stuff. They planted evidence in his RV outside. They planted hand grenades. They planted dog hair fibers in his RV. There was just all sorts of evidence. They said that he took classified information. They found it on a CD in his RV. And all of that evidence apparently was planted. He says that he can prove that it was planted.
Wow.
So that's one of the reasons why the FBI's had a hard on with him. So now what's happening is they're bouncing him around from prison to prison so that they can't get a bead on him to figure out where he is. So it's really the prison system that's doing the dirty work of the deep state at this point.
Wow, that's crazy. Sean, do you have any input on this?
I think I've heard what the panelist was, our friend here was saying, but I think it kind of brings it back to mind. But yeah, I think that's definitely, heads have to roll for this one. This is clearly going against the pardon.
Yeah, 100%. It's pretty disgusting. So next one up, Sean, is one of your posts, protected by the corrupt FBI and CIA again. So I'm not going to read your post. I'll let you cover this post that you made, and you reference Ivan and Piglosi and a bunch of them here. So go ahead and run.
Just real quick with this post, I just tried to summarize an interview Ivan did, and he names the with the Bannon and stuff like that. But he names the 5 people that should be immediately investigated by Kash Patel. Okay. And so number 1 is Pelosi, number 2, General Counsel of the Capitol Police, Tom DeBias. Then you got number 3, Staff Director for J6 Committee, David Buckley, who was one of the 51 spies who lied, and former Attorney General of John Brennan. And then you have number 4, Jamie Raskin, and 5, House Sergeant at Arms, Paul Irving. So yeah, I summarized just what Ivan was saying. That posted pretty good. I think I got like 14,000 views on that. But yeah, he's naming names, and I think that's very important for the public to know who the actual enemies of democracy was. Any of our republic were. So people get on Ivan and they say he talks a big talk, whatever. I mean, he's naming names, and the people that he's associated with are starting to go after them, So
yeah,
I'm sure there's going to be investigations opened on all these people.
Well,
I think that David Buckley guy is a member of the think tank that what's her name? Sarah hang on a second here. Sarah something or other. Sarah Adams. I think he's a member of that think tank that Sarah Adams belongs to. I got basically a whole list of the people that belong to that organization. It's not a public list, but I got a hold of it somehow. But I think he's one of the 50. I think that I know at least there was another one in there that was also part of that think tank as well.
All right. So
just want to let you know, Chris, I do have to get running.
Okay.
But it was great to talk to you, brothers, and keep up the good fight.
Yeah, appreciate it, Sean. Have a good night. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Thank you, Sean.
All right. So next one up, and I saw somebody in the chat mention this as well. So this is Enrique Terrio confronting that piece of shit ex-Capitol cop that we just showed, Michael Fanone, and Ivan Rakelin is in this, but he doesn't say anything. It looks like he's accompanying Enrique. 1:44. I'll probably play the whole thing.
You guys are assholes, so please just back off.
You know what's an asshole? Somebody that sits in the sentencing and laughs while I get sentenced to 22 years. That's an asshole. You were brave on Twitter, and you thought you were brave.
So by the way, yes, dude, the thing that's always got me about the Proud Boys being portrayed as, a bunch of white supremacists. This Enrique Terrio is of Cuban descent, if memory serves me right.
They're just a men's drinking club. That's all they are.
Sure.
Brave on my sentencing, you laughing when I got 22 years. And now you don't even want to look my way. You pretend I'm not here, right? Yeah, keep it walking. Keep walking. Come on, go.
You guys are traitors. Back off.
Did you hear that bitch right there? You guys are traitors.
They think they got away with it.
Yeah, that's Ivan right there, by the way.
You guys are brave on the sentencing. You sat there, you laughed while I got 22 fucking years. Now you don't even want to look at my eyes. You fucking coward. You were a coward that day. You were a coward after.
Just go home. Just go home. You're a traitor to this country.
Yeah, so are you,
You're a traitor to this country.
You're a fucking traitor.
You're a fucking
Piece of
traitor to
shit.
this country.
That's why they fired your ass, and that's why your own people turned on you, piece of shit. You ain't your fucking boy over here. You fucking traitor. And the other one's another fucking little failure. Run from me, motherfucker. Run from me.
He's not staying in the hotel. He's trespassing.
You fucking piece of shit. Run from me.
Fuck you.
Oh, you can say that while you're over there, motherfucker. You didn't do shit.
Fucking bald-headed bitch. Fuck you. Tourette's, man.
What a bunch of scumbags. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
I don't know, but I don't think that dude wants to tangle with Ivan. I think Ivan could take him.
Yeah, it's friggin' just absolutely ridiculous. But so that's the section on the J6 reform. And the next piece up is government reform. So, pardon me, J6 pardons. Then we're getting into the government reform stuff that's been happening here. So gun owners of America. So what about the law? I thought we acted here in the law. ATF and so many other organizations strip away your rights little by little. None of it is the law for Kash Patel. And it's 27 seconds long. And this is exactly what I was speaking to earlier. Now that the Chevron deference doctrine has been thrown out, these rogue agencies, and the ATF is particularly bad for offending in this regard. They may call something a regulation, but it's a law. And they may call something a penalty, but it's actually, a sentence, for lack of a better term. And they can no longer get away with that stuff. It's really encouraging that Trump would make him the temporary or interim head of the ATF. It means the ATF's done. So 27 seconds.
One of the things that shocked me the most at the Department of Justice was how many times I was told we act here on tradition and principle. I said, what about the law? I thought we acted here on the law. That mandate that the Department of Justice created, that fiction that they created, has permeated through the DEA, the ATF, and so many other organizations to strip away your rights little by little by little by little. And none of it is the law.
Exactly. None of these agencies are empowered to make laws. Only Congress can do that. You want to take a swing at this one, S2?
Well, I think they've lost their power now. Their power was the ability to intimidate the public into believing that their rules were enforceable. And a lot of people fell for it. I'm not one of them. I go about my business and I do whatever I damn well please as long as I'm abiding by the law. And a lot of other people, I think, need to take that same route and understand what this is. It's communists trying to strip away your rights so that they can take advantage of you and leave you defenseless. That's all it is.
With the goal of taking out the U.S., which is we are the firewall between globalism and freedom, so they can get their wet dream of having a one world government. All right, so moving on to the next piece. For those who didn't hear, so Elon's team sent emails out to government employees yesterday or late the day before, basically saying, send us back a response to give us 5 bullets on what you accomplished last week. And it's funny that he chose the timing on purpose, because I think the position they're taking here is that whoever doesn't respond to this is probably going to get a pink slip and be fired. So Elon's direct comments are, the reason this matters is that a significant number of people are supposed to be working for the government are doing so little work that they aren't even checking their email. In some cases, we believe non-existent people or the identities of dead people are being used to collect paychecks. In other words, there is outright fraud. So Libs of TikTok points out that this would take 2 minutes to respond, reporting to your boss about what you accomplished. Pretty standard stuff, right? So the email that got sent out basically says, please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. Please do not send any classified information, links, or attachments. Deadline is this Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I've got some more stuff on that coming up. And actually, the next one is still on this topic. So this is interesting. Ambassador Tibor P. Nagy Colleagues, you may have received a message from the U.S. Office of Personnel Management requiring you to submit 5 work-related accomplishments. The State Department will respond on behalf of the department. No employee is obligated to report their activities outside of the department chain of command. All right, S2. This seems like standard accountability to me. And if Elon's assertions are right, that people aren't even checking their email, or the people have, assumed an identity just to collect a fraudulent paycheck, I don't see the problem with this myself.
I don't see a problem with it either, but there's another piece of this too, is that I think they've also discovered that there are some federal employees that are actually working for another company and not doing any work that they're supposed to be doing at this job.
Right. Good point. I read that, but thank you for bringing that back up again. Yeah, the whole thing stinks to high heaven, right? What 7% of federal employees were reporting into the office for work when Trump was, came back into power. So this is a 2-minute video. I'm not going to play the whole 2-minute video, but this entitled, I don't know, millennial maybe, goes off on how she's not obligated to tell anybody but her direct superior what she does for work.
Well, we're about a month in, and Alonia still doesn't understand how chain of command works. It is Saturday, and government employees are receiving an email from hr@opm.gov. Let me show you. As a federal employee, I just want to remind everybody that I do not report to OPM. I report to my supervisor, who reports to their supervisor, who reports to our HR, who reports to a lot of other people, but I do not report to OPM. As you can see, it says, please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC the manager. Please do not send any classified information. Deadline is this Monday at 11:59 p.m. Alonia also tweeted and said that if we don't respond by the deadline.
So she thinks she's being funny by referring to Elon Musk as Alonia, by the way.
That it will count as our resignation. But the deadline said this coming Monday. Didn't even have a date listed. They keep sending these emails on Saturdays and then saying that we miss the emails because we're lazy. But I don't think that these people understand that government employees get paid to take home their laptop and work on the weekends. So that would be more taxpayer dollars going to waste. Nowhere in this email does it state that I will be terminated if I miss this deadline. Nowhere in this email does it state that I even have to open the email. So I will be reporting this email as phishing until my manager tells me otherwise. These people seem to think that they can operate outside of the law, outside of employment law, outside of just judiciary processes.
I don't know if you want to take a swing at this, but she's
retarded.
Yes. Not a
I
fag.
think what ought to happen is they should draft up a pen and paper letter and send them to each one of these people that don't respond to the emails and have it signed Donald Trump. You do report to Donald Trump.
100%. Yep. Good point. So from Libs of TikTok, why are Democrats so upset at federal employees having to explain what they did at work while getting paid by our tax dollars? So from Andy Kim to our public servants, I'm sorry you are being threatened. You deserve so much better. I remember how proud I was when I first swore an oath as a civil servant, honor of a lifetime. Remember why you chose to serve. Stay strong. I and many others will be right by your side. And I mean, it's, I don't know how to describe it other than hubris is the word that comes to mind. From Senator Tina Smith. Now, this is funny. This is the ultimate dick boss move from Musk, except he isn't even the boss. He's just a dick. And Elon Musk goes on to reply, and I think I've got it another screen. What did you accomplish last week? Here it is. I've got it's spilled over to the next one right here. So let's just back up a little bit. So Elon Musk's post on X, consistent with President Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. So again, if like you said, people aren't doing the work, They're not even making an effort to do the work, or it's just some fraudulent made up name and somebody's collecting the money. So then you have her reply, Senator Tina Smith, the ultimate dick boss move. And Elon replies that, what did you get done last week? Oh, that's classic. All right. And
what
so
what exactly is your job?
Yeah. So this is funny because Trump put up this truth on his platform. Elon is doing a great job, but I would like to see him get more aggressive. Remember, we have a country to save, but ultimately to make greater than ever before. Mega. Elon's response, will do, Mr. President. So
I can't wait till he gets in when they get access to the data at the Department of Education.
Oh, what a gong show that's going to be, right?
Oh,
So
I can't wait to see what they're going to do to property taxes over that.
yeah. Hey, so our governor here in Florida, Ron DeSantis, he's trying to end property tax in the state, which is pretty interesting. Anyway, this is hilarious. So SpongeBob got done last week, cried about Trump, cried about Elon, made it into the office for once, read some emails, cried about Trump and Elon some more. So, and Laura Luma, she's not all of her stuff is bad. Some of her stuff's pretty good, actually. So they're going to rename it to FAFO, Federal Agency for Financial Oversight.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, no kidding. So that would be the end of chapter 2. I don't know about US2, but I'm freaking starving. And I mentioned these guys before. So this Bridgeford food. Did Mike Sterling mention this to you? Because he's the one who found these guys at SHOT Show.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, so Mike did an interview or an introduction, email introduction between the guy who owns the company and me. And Mike is like, these are the best MREs that I've ever had, blah, blah, blah. And so they're packaged like regular MREs, look like a regular MRE. These ones here, this one is cinnamon bun, and they're really good. I'm going to eat one as we get into chapter 3 because I'm starving to death. We don't have any relationship with them. We don't have a discount code. We don't do any affiliate money. The food is actually good. It's got a 3-4 year shelf life, but BRIDG, so Bridgeford Ford premium MREs. Check them out. All right. Got a short message from Sawyer Products. We'll be right back with chapter 3. It's a good one tonight.
The Sawyer Mini is the most versatile personal filtration system available. It's a perfect solution for backpacking, hiking, hunting, fishing, scouting, international travel, and emergency preparedness. At a mere 2 ounces, the Mini fits in the palm of your hand and can filter up to 100,000 gallons of water from any freshwater lake, river, or stream. The Sawyer Mini has a 0.1 micron absolute pore size. It was tested to 10 million parts of bacteria and 1 million parts of protozoa without a single breakthrough. This is the highest level filters can be tested to, so we're confident these are the highest rates of filtration available.
All right, like I said, we're going to jump into chapter 3 now, and we've got some good stuff, some pretty funny stuff going on here. All right, Trump, these people are crazy. This video just made my day. Minute 27 seconds.
So they want to have an army tank that's electric. You can't get it recharged. It doesn't go far enough. It doesn't go strong enough. But they want to have electric. So that we go into enemy territory. We will blast the shit out of everybody. But at least we will go in with environmentally nice equipment. Now, do you believe it? No, can you believe it? Then they want to have our jet fighters. Our jet fighters are the best way it goes. They can make a turn on the size of a dime. Boom, boom. They want to use fuel that's a little bit better for the environment. So that as we're attacking some country, trying to devastate some country because they've been bad to us, we go in, we're dropping bombs all over the place, but at least we're not leaving any environmental footprint.
So that's two. I got ahead of myself. This is actually, we're still in chapter 2. We haven't even got to chapter 3 yet. But this stuff, it's friggin' insanity. Electric tanks. I remember when they were proposing this. How could that be described as anything but self-inflicted sabotage?
That's it. It's all in, all electric, all the time.
These things are really good, by the way. So up next, we can all agree that men don't belong in women's sports, right? New in Maine, a video of Maine Governor Janet Mills performing at a Halloween drag show has surfaced. This hilarious footage comes after President Trump called her out on live TV, over the refusal to comply with his executive order that bans men from sports. This is just a 9-second clip. The full video runs for a couple minutes. That's a dude, man. Quick audience poll here, whatever platform you're on. If this is a dude, I want you to put a 1 in the live chat. If you think it's legitimately a woman and not a dude, put a 2 in the chat. Last night, y'all were on fire with your answers. It was pretty awesome. Here we go again on YouTube already. The ones just start flying right on. Well, here, let me give you a little bit more evidence. Is Joe Rogan the governor of Maine?
Oh, no.
There you go.
Whoa, dude.
That's a dude, man. No ifs, ands, or buts. You can see where it shaves, for crying out loud. No question, it's a dude in my mind.
1.5.
Survey says
it's a dude.
Yeah, we've got, I don't know. We got a 3 in there. Not sure what a 3 is. Maybe what are those things? A hermaphrodite? Wow, we got all, it's rocking. I'm watching all 8 platforms in front of me here on my screens. It's all ones. Good job, audience.
Come on, man.
All right, next one up. Happy Sunday. So we've already mentioned this, alluded to it. MSNBC cancels Joy Reid's show in major shakeup because of pathetic ratings. And it's being replaced by a panel show of other crazy people, probably just like her. All right, just looking back on our survey here. Yeah, the ones have it. It's a dude. That's Donald Trump was right again. All right. First, she loses her Trump weave. Then she gets a massive pay cut. Now she's fired. Couldn't happen to a more deserving CUN. See you next Tuesday. Just take the first letter from me.
Yep.
So right here, just take the letter. Actually, we can end right there.
I have to be more creative with my posts like this because I got banned this week from it.
What'd you post?
Well, George Clooney said something stupid, and I said Rosemary should reach out from the grave and slap you upside your head.
You got a suspension for that.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell you what, on that note, and S2 is good friends with Jeff O'Donnell as well. Jeff O'Donnell's the guy who wrote the software that we used election night to pull real-time data from Edison, which is where all the precincts report into. We were the first ones to have results, even ahead of the mainstream media. Him and I have been working 16, 17-hour days. We've got 3 other people on the team that have been working just as hard to get Todd Callender's next generation social media website called Liberty Club. It's launching at 12 noon this Wednesday of this week, 12 noon Eastern time. And we'll just load it up here quickly. So this is what it looks like. We've got it on a new super fast server. We got it on a Gigi pipe, and it's super user friendly and intuitive. A lot of compliments from people. Here's the thing. No censorship for starters. There will be no censorship. If it's porn or illegal stuff, it's not going to stay on, but there's no censorship. Okay. Much of people have asked us, what are y'all using for an algorithm? We're not using anything for an algorithm. It'll be 100% organic. What gets traction, not because we have a narrative that we want to push or anything like that. So if you go to patreon.com/survival dispatch and you sign up for an insider's membership, which is $9.99 a month, you get all of our daily sit reps. It's like a highly curated newspaper. You get an invite to our Signal channel. S2 will tell you volume of information that goes through there is off the chain. It's over 2,000 messages a day now. You get a bunch of other stuff, but here's what you also get is all of you who joined as an insider will get an invite between now and Wednesday to join the beta period here, which is rapidly winding up for Liberty Club, and you will get a lifetime Premium Plus, the highest level Premium Plus membership. So we've got a free membership. We got a basic membership. It's like $3 a month. We've got a intermediate one called Premium. It's $11.99 a month. And then we've got the Mac Daddy package, which we're charging $24.99 a month. By the way, Elon is now charging $40 a month for Premium Plus on X. And S2 just hit the nail on the head. He got suspended. I've been suspended, all that kind of stuff. But again, if you sign up for patreon.com/survival dispatch, $9.99 a month, you'll get an invite to jump on Liberty Club before we launch it on Wednesday. And you get a lifetime Premium Plus membership for free. No extra charge.
I'm waiting on my email.
Which email? Oh, for the invite? You've already been invited. You're already there. Trying to trip me up like that. All right. So this is a good one here. Don Lemon and Joy Reid should start a podcast and call it Lemon Joy.
That's good.
and you'll appreciate this one here, by the way. So the NPCs, I stand with Joy Reid. And we're not even into chapter 3 yet, but there was just so much zany stuff. I had to put it all out there tonight. All right. So giving Kamala a Black Woman Award despite losing for being a cringe retard perfectly encapsulates how Black women are treated here. Just endless praise for doing absolutely nothing. 28 seconds. What the fuck is that, by the way?
That's a dude.
Look at the suit she's wearing, too. I think she thinks I don't know what to say. I guess actually that's like the ultimate participation trophy, right? You got your ass kicked, but and Mike Engelman has to be a joke. Kamala Harris signs with major Hollywood talent agency.
Well, why not? All of the rest of the people on Biden's cabinet were actors.
Exactly. So from Joey Manarino, can someone explain to me what Kamala Harris is wearing? What exactly is that outfit? Is she in mourning? 30
applause there.
God, all I think every time I hear her say is, do we ever dodge a fucking bullet? Oh
I just want her to go away. Just go away. Don't go away mad. Just go away.
Yeah, just go the fuck away. All right. So mark this date on your calendar. March 4th, 2025, the great revealing. Trump announced he will be addressing joint Congress. Every member of Congress is told their presence is mandatory. Every network must carry the address live. In my humble opinion, this will be a date forever noted in history as the great revealing. He will lay bare all of the national disgraces and secrets hidden from us, the rightful owners of this great nation. Godspeed, Mr. President. Godspeed.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't flip over to the next screen, but there it is anyway. March the 4th. We shall see what's coming up.
Well, they say you got to come clean before you can be clean. So I guess maybe this is it.
I don't know, but let's hope it's not a nothing burger. I'm looking for big things to happen during Trump's second tenure. I'm shocked Reid Hoffman isn't in the top 5, says Juanita Broderick. So breaking current top 10 most likely individuals to be named in the Epstein files by June 30th, according to Polymarket. Number 2 is Bill Clinton, by the way, but 27-second video with Reid Hoffman here.
Despite his remarkable achievements, Hoffman has not been immune to controversy. His name has been linked to Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted sex offender, after news of his visit to Epstein's private island came to light. Little St. James Island, located in the Caribbean, has gained notoriety due to its association with the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. This private island, often referred to as Pedophile Island, was a playground for the rich and powerful, where Epstein allegedly engaged in illicit activities.
Man, let's hope we get all the names that come out of this. All right, next one up. Putnam County, Florida. 8 youths were arrested in less than 13 hours after 2 stolen vehicle incidents. On February 19th, 5 teens fled a truck and trailer stolen from a church. Blah, 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 blah. Why did I put this in chapter 2 tonight? So years ago, we went to the Country 500, which was a big country and western concert held at the Speedway. Jason Aldean, Kid Rock, Chris Stapleton, all those types of people. And my wife moved my truck before we left. And then we took her truck to we took her Jeep to the concert. And when we got home, I noticed the door of my truck was ajar. And I said to her, did you not lock my truck? And she said, well, I thought I did. So I went and checked it, and the door was open, and there was a gun stolen out of the truck. So we called the cops, and the cop said to us, listen, there's a gang that's moving this way from South Florida. And what they do is they have somebody who's 16, 17 years old who drives a vehicle, and then they've got some youngins that are like 12, 13. They drop these 12, 13-year-olds off in a neighborhood and come back and pick them up 10, 15 minutes later. And the youngins that are 12, 13 look for car doors that are open, household doors that are open if nobody's home, those sort of things. And if they get caught by the cops, they get a slap on the wrist. There's no room for them in the juvie system. And the kids who are 16 or 17 say, hey, I dropped them off to visit their friends. I wasn't part of this. I don't know what you're talking about. And that's why I put it in here, because you're looking at 14 and 15-year-old kids here doing the same scam that happened when that gun was stolen from me. What's crazy is the cops reach out to me about 6 months later. A guy named DeAndre Sanders had killed somebody with my gun and then disposed of it, which it was recovered later on. And after that happened, got in a shootout with the cops down on Seabreeze in Daytona Beach. And he shot one of the cops while he was at it. I mean, it was a gong show of things that happened, but either way, this is how criminal gangs are trying to get around laws, by engaging youngins.
Yeah, we had that. We had a rash of that going on around here too.
It's crazy, isn't it? All right, next piece up. So after signing $50 million to fight Trump, Newsom asked Congress for $40 billion in fire relief without oversight.
No.
First things first, what'd you do with the $17 billion on the high-speed train to nowhere? It's unbelievable.
A little bit to Biden, a little bit to Obama.
Yeah. Richard Grinnell flat out said, you're not getting any money without strings attached to it. You're going to have to do certain things, like same-day voting, paper ballots, no illegals, all that kind of stuff. But all right, next poll up for our audience. Is Pedo Hanks on the list? So if you think Tom Hanks is on the Jeffrey Epstein list, put a 1 in the comments. If you think he's innocent and he's not on the Epstein list and he's not a pedophile, put a 2 in the live chat. Interested to see where this one comes out. A lot of people like Tom Hanks, but after the rant he went on against Trump Saturday Night Live recently, he's got bad juju, man, because everybody comes hard at Trump like that. The establishment is lording something over him like this. And I think you're going to see he's prominently figured. Yeah. Epstein, there's some reports that he's tied to Diddy as well. And Obama's definitely tied to Diddy, but hopefully we're going to find out. We're going to have some insight on this stuff soon. All right. So that now is the end of chapter 2. And we can now roll into chapter 3, where we've got funny, zany stuff. Not sure if we have any memes tonight or not. I can't remember. It's been so long since I did chapter 3 today. But anyway, this is what I voted for. Maine is going to follow state and federal law regarding transgenders in women's sports. We are the federal law, you fucking retard. Which, by the way, now that we're into chapter 3, NSFW warning on chapter 3. It's not uncommon for us to have some profanity in chapter 3. All right.
I just have one question for you. Am I going to have to get out my don't see button?
Well, I mean, you know the answer to that question, right?
Okay.
Explain what you mean to the audience while I queue up the next round of stuff here.
Chris has this habit of pulling stuff up. There are things that you should never have to see because you will never be able to unsee them again.
I will own that. I will take total responsibility for that. Oh my God. All right, next one up. Oh, this one's funny, by the way. So this is, and I agree with this. Laughter is the best medicine for health. So let's laugh, which is why we started doing chapter 3 a few months ago. We want to leave you with a smile on your face. A little bit of funny ha-ha stuff. This is good.
Oh,
What the fuck is this, man?
oh my God!
What the fuck off? You're not serious.
All right. Oh my God. The next one up. This is, so S2 is an instructor. He teaches people, self-defense and how to shoot guns and defend themselves. This one's pretty funny. 31 seconds. This is self-defense 101.
In a defensive scenario, you never want to go for the face. You always want to go center mass, or my personal favorite, the dick. If you make
that is a viable technique.
Oh, you freaking dumbass. Guess what? You're getting a shot towards the dick. Reason being, the pelvis actually holds up the whole entire body. If you take that out, they are now immobile. And you get to shoot them in the dick more. Body armor, no problem. Shoot them in the dick. Someone's taller than you, no problem. Shoot them in the dick. Moral of the story, I'm probably going to shoot you in the dick.
That is a viable technique. I'm telling you it is.
That's funny. When we switched our concealed weapons permits from Texas to Florida, the cop who was leading the sessions said the exact same thing. You never know who might have body armor out there. Just shoot them in the groin.
Yep.
So definitely good advice. All right. This is too funny. This lady thinks that her son has a new girlfriend, and I'm going to bet money that he does not have a new girlfriend, but he has a new boyfriend.
I think my son finally has a girlfriend. He just made me pull over so he can talk to someone. Look at this.
Who is he talking to? Oh, he couldn't talk to her in the car. Oh, that's so adorable.
Say what?
All right. Next survey for the chat. And by the way, one's overwhelmingly one again. If you think he has a boyfriend, put a 1 in the live chat. If you think he has a girlfriend, put a 2 in the live chat. I'll be interested to see what comes out of that. All right.
I think
next
he
one.
is the girlfriend.
That's even better stated. Yeah. Let's do that. If you think he is the girlfriend, put a 1. Kind of the same thing, just different. If you think he's the boyfriend, put a 2. All right. This is exactly what I voted for. 2 minutes, 9 seconds. I'll play maybe half of it.
Aliens, cover your ears because shit's about to get real. Any hootie? Apparently I struck a nerve with a few people on my last video. Shocker, I know. I don't understand why I've been banned on this app 3 fucking times. It's a mystery. But for those of y'all that were triggered, I just want y'all to know, I don't give a single flying, running, swimming fuck. My field of fuck is completely barren. Now I'm gonna piss y'all off again. First off, Democrats and liberals, are y'all okay? Oh, that's a stupid question. Of course y'all ain't. Y'all seem to have a problem with investigations now. Is it because it's y'all's side being investigated? Because y'all were all for it when Trump was getting investigated and bogus-ass charges being put on him. Y'all were celebrating and all for it. I mean, I just don't get it because what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? But wait, that's only when it's not y'all's fucking people. Silly me. I mean, to be completely honest, if I was one of y'all's people, I wouldn't want my skeletons drug out of the fucking closet either. Like if my salary was $100,000 a year, but I'm a multi-millionaire, I wouldn't want my money to be cut off. Oh, wait, my bad. They made all of their millions of dollars from investing. I don't understand how that's not a big red flag to y'all. It damn sure ain't a fucking carnival. then again, a lot of you have the IQ of a fucking houseplant.
Yeah, what's
That's
what's
an
the
insult to
saying?
house plants.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Somebody said a while ago, but if Kamala Harris was any stupider, well, I'd have to water her every day. All right, and looking forward to the year 2080, the Earth is just 12 years left.
Oh, get her off the screen. That's a do not see thing.
Yeah, it's nowhere near the worst. Trust me. Sorry we missed you from UPS. I just fell so bad on your porch. Watch the Ring camera for a good laugh. Laugh out loud. Text me the video, please.
Okay.
Oh my God, this one's priceless. Love our dog videos. All right, 1 minute 4 seconds. That's pretty funny. That dog knows the routine. All right, next one up.
Trump do not sleep. He don't play by no rules. He say, will your president be awake at 3 o'clock in the morning to answer the phone? If it rings, shit, yeah, our president is up. Our president is a vampire. That motherfucker sent 23 tweets at 12:30. What the fuck is you talking about? That motherfucker is on it. Trump don't give a fuck. That motherfucker is on it, whatever the fuck it is. Every time he wake up, he just sign another fucked up piece of paper. Wait till they see this when they wake the fuck up, since they want to talk. Use a little bit and then walk off. Not with Trump. Niggas is watching the news like it's the playoffs. Trump don't give a fuck. Trump don't follow nobody's rules. The president supposed to be at the White House. Our president is wherever the fuck he wanna be. Now we finna see what America is like with a motherfucking bully in that bitch. Trump don't give a fuck.
Got that right.
Oh my God. So I'm not going to play the full 3 minutes on this, but road rage extravaganza.
There it is. Dumbass. Just leave that right there.
Whoa, whoa. Oh yeah, here we go. He's rolling.
That's something you don't see every day.
Yeah, boy, howdy.
Was told that body swabs would be taken after he was arrested. So,
A little bit of a break check there. All
I'm
right.
known for those.
All right. See you later, alligator.
Bueno, playores, media jura, papi. La bomba de mi abuelo. ¡Ay! 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 ¡Ay!
Cuidado, cuidado, fiera, cuidado, corre, fiera.
I guess he didn't see the alligator signs.
Yeah, no kidding. Too funny. All right. There you go. Racism in 1950, racism in 2024. Did I hear that Whoopi Goldberg got fired from The View?
Yep. Sure did.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer person. Why did she get fired? Because she's an asshole?
Probably.
All right.
Probably because she wouldn't go to Canada like she said she would.
Right. All right. I have no words.
Like, after all these years of marriage to Martha, I ain't never been with her to the female doctor until yesterday. You ever been? Hank, I thought she had been saying she was going to get a Pabst beer. And I was like, well, shit, drink it up, baby. Pabst Blue Ribbon, that's what I thought. And I thought when she said menopause, she was giving me a break, a menopause. Give the men a pause, a break. Well, shit, no, that's not what goes on. We went up there and she put her feet up in that thing and he pulled out some damn needle nose pliers that long. I thought I was going to have to fist fight the son of a bitch after I passed out and came back to it. Hank, I went out. I needed a Pabst beer after that. Lord have mercy. I said, damn, baby, you are tough as nails after going through that. No way I'd have that shit done to me. No. That son gonna look painful. I ain't ever doing that shit. Oh, my Lord. Have mercy.
Oh my God. All right. Next one up.
You know what ticks me off? When I come home to my house and I look on the counter and I see cinnamon buns that my daughter made last night with a note, don't eat. Are you kidding me? Why can't I eat? This is my house. This is my kitchen counter. These are my cinnamon buns. That's my saran wrap you use to cover the cinnamon. That's my memo pad that you use to make the note. That's my pen that you use to write don't eat. It gets better. You open a refrigerator, they got their names on different food. This is Victoria's. This is Michael's. Daddy, do not eat this. What am I, an animal? This is my house. Eat whatever I want. Anything under this roof is mine. You got that? When you get your own apartment, I'm going to come to your apartment. I'm going to eat everything in sight and put little post-its. Look what Daddy ate.
I think he's a little upset.
Yeah, a little bit. Right on. There's J.D. Vance spanking the Germans, the Europeans, for free speech. I think that the German Conservative Party, AFD, did pretty well today. Maybe second is what I heard. All right. And there's father and son. Pretty funny. The world went wireless before it was wired, but that's none of my business. So some interesting stuff on Tesla. If you ever have a chance to look into it.
Yep.
Boy to watch you pee?
No,
No. Why?
because it's inappropriate.
It's inappropriate. My 8-year-old daughter knows it's inappropriate, and yet y'all sit there silent. One of you told me that your personal views don't align with the views you show to the public. Cowards. That is not how you do it. That should show every parent in this county that you are not fit to sit on this board. Every one of you. Tell me you didn't say that this is not your job, that it should be left up to the ethics committee. I've heard you say it's not my job. When it came to the books being in these schools, it is your job to look over who's in charge of catching those books. All you do is smile. Rob, I don't have a problem with you, but this has got to stop, because I'm going to tell you, y'all come up here and talk about vaping and the dangers of vaping. If a little boy follows my daughter in that bathroom and touches her, you will have a new rather of dangers. This is ridiculous. You're opening up opportunity for problems to happen. You either create a new bathroom for those who are confused, you send them to the staff bathroom. It's a very simple problem. We don't change policy for tens of thousands of people to accommodate. There is no problem with people do.
That's in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, no kidding.
I probably know that guy.
Yeah, couldn't agree with him more. All right. So the question here is, how often does this happen?
Hey, shh. It's okay. It's okay. Take a deep breath. You had a surgery. You've been under anesthesia, but you're okay. We're gonna get you out of here. What's going on? Well, you had an event, and we had to operate, but you're gonna be okay. Why is my rear end killing me? We had to perform an emergency intracranial rectal removal, and the worst part is, this has been happening a lot. This is the second time you've been in the hospital because your head has been up your ass. I need to ask you something. Are you a Democrat?
Yeah, of course I am. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I was in the union about 20 years ago.
Okay. Oh, slow down. We don't want that head to go back up there. All right? This happens a lot with liberals. Your beliefs and the way you vote affects the way your head relates with your butthole. And it'll just go right up there and block reality. Whoa, shush. It'll happen right as I'm sitting here. It's not pleasant to watch. So I want you to take a look at this. That is the Constitution. Now look at it, read it, and that's going to affect the way you see the world. Welcome aboard. I'm also going to write you a prescription for a couple of old Ronald Reagan speeches.
Oh my God. And so I've discovered that my grandfather loves coffee, and that's why he doesn't sleep at night.
Somehow I don't think it's the coffee. Is that AOC?
Just can't help himself. Grandpa loves his coffee.
Hey, if I get that old, I'm gonna love my coffee too. If it looks like that.
Oh, dang it. Hold on a second here. The battery just died in my phone or on my camera here. Hold on a second. We got technical problems here. Get this one going here. All right. We have to do the side shot for a minute. All right. I'm a citizen of the USA. Here is all I want. Borders closed, English language, Constitution, Bill of Rights, drug-free mandatory drug screening before welfare, no freebies to non-citizens, balanced budget, term limits for Congress. Amen to all that stuff. Oh, and of course, with these technical difficulties, didn't bring the page over. All right, there it is. All right, next one up. This is funny. So here's everyone at Fort Knox right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Let me move this backup camera beside me a little bit here. There we go. Try that instead. All right, next one up. When I serve you breakfast in bed, just say thanks. Don't be like, who the fuck are you and how did you get into my house? Racism. Some people make a lot of money at it. Don't they ever? If you're cremated after you die, you can be put into an hourglass and continue to participate in family game night.
Ew.
Fake asylum seeker in Ireland punches car and discovers it was better.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd say he learned his lesson.
It's that cultural thing that gets you every time.
Learning is important. John Rocker. Democrats have reached a level of delusion where it is considered offensive to ask your employees what they're working on. They're only getting mad because they haven't been working. True story there. All right, this is kind of brutal here. Look what NBA players got the youth doing.
What?
The kids take the foul. Unreal.
What did he do? I didn't see it.
The black kid pretended that the
okay.
Like watch. So the kid on the right doesn't do anything. The kid sees moving away, and the kid on the left fakes that he's been pushed down so he can get
what an asshole.
Mm-hmm. All right, from Brendan Dilley. The Democrats didn't just create dead voters to steal elections. They created dead employees to siphon paychecks from the government. That's in addition to creating fake NGOs to steal billions in addition to everything else. The Democrat Party is literally a mafia.
We've been saying that for decades.
This is pretty funny. If I ran NASA, it would be mandatory for the ground crew to be dressed as apes when the space shuttle lands.
That would be a level of freak out.
No shit. Liberals, when they realize he's only been in office for 2 weeks and there's 206 weeks left. Oh my God. The U.S. is queerer than ever, with 23% of Gen Z adults identifying as LGBTQ. What changed? Indoctrination. All right. Next one up. They don't call it the Mockingbird media for nothing. You'll never watch news again after seeing this video.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 So this is something S2 and I frequently point out. If you hear legacy media people essentially repeating the same script over and over again, here's your clue.
Psyop. It's a psyop.
100%. That's the first way to tell. And then you can go follow the money and see where it leads.
And as an additional gift for becoming an insider and you get access to the Signal channel, I will pass out to you, if you ask, my PSYOP checklist.
True story. All right. Gen Z believes wokeism is only for ugly people. Are they right? I think they are on that one. 130 mile per hour pursuit ends in crash.
Got a funny feeling it's going to be the dude on the bike. See that back tire wiggling a little bit. Here it comes. Just lay it down. Just lay it down.
I was going to say, you can hear him thump against the cop car there. Just a reminder, we have a new commander-in-chief. We don't want strongly worded letters or warnings. We want to see actual indictments, handcuffs, and perp walks. America is waiting. Reminder, any member of government who violates the U.S. Constitution is supposed to be removed from government, not warned, not voted out, arrested, and removed. Oh, this one's crazy, man. Check this out. I would do this, but this person says they wouldn't do it no matter how much money they were paid.
The look on your face when you realize you can't get to the snacks that are being offered to you.
Yeah, boy, howdy. In case you were wondering how big an eagle's foot is, it's this big.
That's
impressive.
a big foot.
Yeah. I'll skip the next one. All right. The Constitution isn't having a crisis, but the Democrat Party sure as heck is.
Yeah.
True story. All right. This is how it happens. State forces arrive in numbers to a small rural community, usually occupied by elderly folks. They manhandle the locals out of the way and plant third world migrants into the community. The modern day plantation of Ireland should be global news.
Please step up in the path. Open the path.
Oh, look, it's Garda.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Fuck's sake! Round to show her scumbag. Jesus Christ! Fuck! Oh my God!
So facilitated invasion and genocide essentially going on in Ireland. 96-97% white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, but the WEF globalist clowns are making sure that they infiltrate them with invaders from third world countries.
Yeah, that'll pop off eventually.
Yeah, no kidding. Hakeem Jeffries confronted with brutal Democrat poll numbers after Hakeem attempts to spin with lies about Medicare and Social Security gets nuked by Jake Tapper of all people. And this is outright lies on the part of these Democrats. There's nothing has been done or is fixing to be done to Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. It's just outright laws.
House Republicans, they've been on the run. They are feeling the pressure.
Good old dollar store Obama, by the way.
Of the fact that their policies are deeply unpopular with the American people. And we've seen that play out this past week all across the country. And Democrats are going to continue to make clear that we will stand against the effort to end Medicaid as we know it, stand against the effort to detonate Social Security or Medicare, certainly stand against the effort to undermine veterans' benefits or nutritional assistance to children and families.
So it's certainly true that President Trump's poll numbers are not in a great place, although they're higher than they ever were in his first term. But Congressional Republicans polling is about 40%. Congressional Democrats polling is about 20%. So that's an issue for.
Oops.
Bunch of bad actors, literally. All right. This one here's that's not funny. Do it again. So pay attention to what's happening here. practical joke.
That's just wrong.
Yeah. Never let them forget anyone planning to forget these pricks. Gene Simmons, you were willing to walk among us unvaccinated. You are the enemy. Howard Stern, when are we going to stop putting up with idiots in this country and just say it's mandatory to get vaccinated? Fuck them. Fuck their freedom. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mandatory still doesn't mean it's a law.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger, screw your freedom. Piers Morgan, love the idea of COVID vaccine passports for everywhere. Flights, clubs, gyms, shops. It's time COVID denying anti-vaxxer loonies had their bullshit bluff called. Jimmy Kimmel, who gets an ICU bed? Vaccinated person, come right in. Unvaccinated person who gobbled horse goo. Rest in peace, Wheezy. And
you talking about Tim Waltz?
Yeah, and Don Lemon, don't have the vaccine. Can't go to the supermarket, can't go to the ball game, can't go to work, no shirt, no shoes, no service. So, by the way, speaking of Tim Walz, did you catch that he's connected to some club in Washington State? It's something, the Rain, something or other. And one of these government programs that's been used to pay for demented crap. There's 160 members. Reportedly, he's one of them, where men can go to this club and masturbate together. True story. You look it up. It ain't hard to find.
Okay.
Sickos, man. All right. Guns don't kill people. Planned Parenthood kills people. That's a mouthful right there. All right. This next one up is pretty impressive. Man does a backflip over a charging bull. This is wild. Man, if his timing had been off by even a millisecond, this would not have ended so well. What's funny here is watch the look on the bull's face after. He's like, what the fuck?
I missed.
Where did that guy just go?
I missed.
That's some pretty impressive athleticism on that guy's part, though. Very impressive. All right. We're almost at the end of the videos here. A few memes after that. How to stay focused on your goal. This is the very best example of extreme focus. 21 seconds.
Dreams made of these. Who am I?
Good catch. Impressive. All right. Next one up. Wildlife encounters. 1 minute, 2 seconds.
Welcome to the Scared Shitless Championships with contestant number 1 breaking and entering. It appears this is not a person, place, thing, she, him, whatever the hell we want to call it. It's a friggin' bear! Obviously in search for human hot pockets. Or will it be contestant number 2, the kiss of death? Holy beefaroni, get your ass out of there now, Sharon! Or will it be contestant number 3, alligator just rolling up nonchalantly, no big deal, and obviously he's looking for a little bit of love in all the wrong places, and ends up putting his honorary teeth in all the right places. Holy shit! Was the up-close VIP experience worth it? Huh? Will it be contestant number 1, the uninvited guest?
Damn, Smoke, what you doing knocking like you the damn police?
Or will it be contestant number 2, the up-close VIP experience with a kiss of death on the side? Or will it be contestant number 3, violated by Bubba the alligator? And now a quick word from Bubba.
All right. So survey time again. If you think the bear was the scariest, put a 1 in the chat. If you think, like, some timers kicking in already. What was number 2 again? Oh, the shark. So 1 for the bear, 2 for the shark, 3 for the gator. All right, last one. Rich people have fancy brand labels on their clothes, but happy people have dog hair on them. This is true. Very, very true. Definitely in our house. All right, that's it for videos for chapter 3. I've got some memes here. This one obviously is before Kash Patel was confirmed, but the senator who was blocking Kash Patel blocked the Epstein flight logs as well. His name is Dick Durbin. Interesting, huh? Just have a quick look at the, man, it's pretty evenly split. George 1, 2, and 3. There you go. All right. My new favorite insult. You sound vaccinated. That's good. Rome 2,000 years ago. Africa about an hour ago. Ever wonder why there were no Democrats on Mount Rushmore? Yeah, me neither. When your tinfoil hat turns into a crown of knowledge. Yeah, your mom thought you were riding your bike around the block for 8 hours, but in that time you went 5 miles away, explored an abandoned house, jumped over some garage roofs, attempted a Ouija board, built a den in the woods, and made your own fire. Tell me that's not Gen Xers right there. S2.
That was me.
Yeah, same. The fact that Wisconsin hasn't taken over the Upper Peninsula from Michigan tells me everything I need to know about those cowards. Expert claims parents should ask babies for permission before changing diapers. That's not even a meme. That's a true story. Fucking whack jobs. 2 of the 249-year-olds receiving Social Security checks.
I think that was one I posted the other day.
It was good. What you think Chinese prostitutes look like, what Chinese prostitutes actually look like. True story. Trump, long live the king. Zelensky is a dictator and a freeloading punk bitch. True story. A well-aimed spear is worth 3. I'm not sure I even know why that got in there. Our country needs your money. Dire emergency. Please help. Yeah. I'm so old I can remember having to stay home if I was expecting a phone call. True story. Call me old-fashioned, but sex with a child should warrant the death penalty. Second motion. And just like that, Democrats don't like investigations anymore. IRS here, you're being audited. Doge. Oh my God. Talked to a friend in Germany today. I asked him how things were over there these days. He said he couldn't complain because they get thrown in jail for that shit. Trans sheep are sheep. That's actually a good comparison to the insanity. Oh my God. This next one's freaking hilarious. They look so cute and cuddly, but the slightest thing can turn this beautiful creature into something so dangerous and violent that the toughest of men could be killed or maimed for life. Here you can see it cuddling a bear. Oh my God. When the price of eggs is outrageous, but you own chickens. There he is right there, Mike Sterling in the flesh.
He didn't choose the life, it chose him.
Yeah. There's our army of friends out there, by the way. God bless you all. Leftist, when Trump does a new thing, me who voted for all of it. I don't really give a shit about Democrats complaining about a single Trump pick. No shit. Look at this absolute mess, right? This thing in the military. This guy paraded around in the White House. Total Fruit Loop. Same as this guy here. This is a dude. This is a guy who had sex with another guy in somewhere in the Senate, in the Capitol. And then when people said it was disgusting behavior, he said that it was a what do you call it? A show of love or something like that. These people are fucked in the head. This thing's a dude with a set of bolt-ons that went parading around the White House lawn with no top on. This is the one up here who was in charge of nuclear waste that stole people's women's luggage from airports. And of course, we got the toilet brush, and the dude who cut his dick off thinks he's a woman. All right. My 8-year-old is battling her uncle in a prank war. Last night, she delivered this devastating blow reserved for Mr. Fart. Breaking. President Trump just instructed every single governor in America to switch to paper ballots and same-day voting. That would be awesome. All right. This man sitting with Barack Hussein Obama is his grandfather, CIA agent Stanley Dunham, also George Bush Sr.'s cousin. S2, what have you heard on this Obama stuff? There's a lot of scuttlebutt going around that Trump finally has the goods on him with his birth certificate and that it's going to be revealed imminently.
Well, I've just recently heard about the evidence that's been talked about his birth certificate being a forgery. was done by Sheriff Arpaio out of
Arizona.
Yeah. So I've seen that whole thing. So
What's
to
your
be
what are your
honest with,
thoughts?
excuse me.
What are your thoughts? I mean, has it got legs?
I don't really, haven't really given it much thought, to be honest with you, because I'm just trying to look more towards the future than look towards the past, because the past will settle itself out.
Yeah, fair enough. You can't drive looking in the rearview mirror, right? All right, so we're at the end here now. We've got a little bit of homework related to the main topic tonight, which was Trump's first month. So I got 4 bullets, and then I'll turn it over to S2. And by the way, if you go to patreon.com/survival dispatch, sign up for an insider membership, $9.99 a month. You get all of our situation reports every day, highly curated newspaper. Proud to say that we're on episode 409 tonight, and we've issued 3 retractions where we got it wrong. So nobody's perfect, but we're pretty proud that we've only had 3 retractions had to be made out of 409 episodes. We put a lot of time and effort into our sit reps to make sure that it's as truthful as possible. So if you do that, you'll also get your free membership, Premium Plus membership at Liberty Club, by the way. All right. Vocally support Trump and his America First agenda on your socials and in person. Study the facts on Survival Dispatch News amongst other truth tellers to rebut the leftards, rhinos, and SJWs, social justice warriors. Share SDN and other truth tellers on your socials. Write to your congressional reps and let them know where you stand. If we keep that up, we keep the phone calls and the letters and the emails going, hopefully the light bulb will turn on for some of these people who've behaved in very un-American ways. So that is it for my thoughts. As to what are your thoughts as far as how people can continue to support Donald Trump's efforts and just keep on winning? I think you're on mute, S2.
I'd say just start talking about facts with people. Honestly, I don't know that I think we're at a point right now where the only thing that could be done is for people to be shown. The effects of Trump's policies are going to have to take hold. And once people start to see those things, I think that the softening of attitudes will happen and conversations will be opened up to deeper understanding at that point. So that's about all I can say at this point.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Do you have the sit rep for the conflicted question?
Yes, I do. Here we go. On June 5th, 2025, a massive underwater landslide off the Atlantic coast triggered by a rare seismic event near the Canary Islands sends a mega tsunami racing towards eastern seaboard. Waves up to 100 feet slam into the cities like New York, Miami, and Boston within hours, flooding coastal regions up to 20 miles inland. Millions are displaced, infrastructure, ports, highways, and power plants are obliterated, and saltwater contamination ruins farmland and freshwater sources. The federal government struggles to respond to refugee camps springing up. Disease spreads in cramped conditions. Looters exploit the chaos. International aid is slow to arrive due to damaged shipping lanes, leaving survivors cut off for weeks. The question is, how would you prepare for an evacuation plan and secure emergency supplies if you lived within 50 miles of the coast and only had a few hours warning before a mega tsunami struck?
And interesting question that's relevant to us here in Florida. We're only about 3 miles the way the bird flies to the ocean. So we have paper maps, of course, in our vehicles. We've got routes mapped out to get north into Georgia, where we have a cabin in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So we've got plenty of supplies there. So we would be able to get on the road pretty quickly, even if we only had a few hours warning. Now, could we get across the state line into Georgia? Depends on how many people took the warning seriously. If under normal circumstances, we probably wouldn't have a problem. But if it was one of those times when people actually do pay attention, we could potentially be in a fair bit of trouble. But I can tell you over the years, every time a Cat 4, Cat 5 has bear down on us and there have been evacuation orders, people leave it to the last minute. I'm thinking back to like when Charlie hit us. It was a 5 on the Gulf Coast, a 4 when it hit us, but massive destruction. right at the last minute, I-95 turned into a parking lot. People decided at the very end they were going to evac. So hopefully we would be one of the first ones out there and could get out of the state. But this is a tough one. This is a really tough one. What are your thoughts, Stu?
First off, I don't plan on living within 50 miles of any ocean. So I'm not living there. That's not an issue for me.
That's a good place to be.
I look at places that I move to. We're looking at moving right now, and the places that we're looking at, we're taking that into consideration as well in light of the recent weather events that have happened, and being anywhere near any huge body of water like that is not even in the cards.
Yeah, good, not a bad plan at all. So we will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. usual time, 7 days a week. And we've got a really cool video from Brendan Dilley lined up here, Warlord Dilley, basically the eternal fight between good and evil. But we will be back at 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night, same as every other night of the week. Till then, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and God bless America.
Right now, we are in the midst of a supernatural war. This is a war between light and darkness. It's a war between good and evil. It's a war between Christ and Antichrist, with demonic forces, highly organized, totally ruthless, committed to destroying you. And that those demon powers will attack your mind, and attack your body, and attack your marriage, and attack your finances, and attack your children, and attack your relationships, and attack your church. Put on the whole armor of God and stand beside me and take the word of the holiness of the Father. Fight the good fight of faith. Resist the devil and he will flee from you.
He says then you need a breastplate called righteousness. But he doesn't stop there. He says you need something for your feet. They better be shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Then he says you need a shield, and it's called faith. He says in verse 17, you need a helmet. You need something to guard your mind. You need a helmet called salvation. And you need a sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. And while most people stop there, the Apostle Paul does not. He said, even though these 6 things are important, you need one more thing. In verse 18, he says, and pray.
And for those of you who name the name of Christ, stop allowing Satan and his demonic goons to destroy your marriage. Put on the whole armor of God and fight back. Quit allowing him to attack your health. The Bible says by his stripes we are healed. Quit allowing him to attack your finances. The Bible says God will rebuke the devourer for your sake. He will make him give it back to you sevenfold. Stop allowing the devil to rob you of your peace, because Jesus Christ is the Prince of Peace. Stop allowing Satan to rob you of your joy. In his presence is the fullness of joy. In nothing, be not terrified by your adversary. In nothing, be not terrified by your adversary. The Bible says you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Jesus said, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. The truth is not something. The truth is someone. That someone is Jesus Christ. And when you know him, you have the truth, and you walk in the truth, and you joy in the truth, and you rejoice with truth that is unspeakable and unshakable, because Christ is the solid rock, the cornerstone, precious and elect in Zion. He's not trying to be truth. He is the truth. I want to put on the whole armor of God and come out fighting with fresh fire, that I can be counted worthy to be numbered among the New Testament saints.